Hi everyone, this is Zen. Today we're talking about Iyashi-kei, and we're going to be talking about anime and such that makes you feel good. Speaking of things that make you feel good, I just wanted to give a shout out to all those who are celebrating Mother's Day today. And I especially want to give a huge shout out to my mum, who has been my pillar of support emotionally and just in general since forever. I would never have been able to find and follow my dream career so early had she not worked tirelessly at multiple jobs so that I could go to Japanese classes and take trips to Japan for homestays and all sorts of things that she's helped me out with. I literally wouldn't be here without her. Thank you, and I love you so much. 迷惑かけてばかりでごめんね。私が幸せなのはお母さんのおかげ。I hope you all enjoyed today's pod.
Okay. Good evening. If it's evening, if it's morning, I guess good morning. My name's Rin, and welcome to Wakatta Furi, a podcast where we pretend to know things about Japan. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm, contrary to my own ego, not an expert on anything as it turns out. Okay, other people go.
Hi, I'm other people, and apparently afternoon doesn't exist in Rin's timeline. So good afternoon. I am Aki. I do things and pretend to know things as well. I recently bought an iPad. My pronouns are they, them, and I do like to be yasareru.
Hello. Welcome to Wakatta Furi. My name is Zen. Today, we're hoping to bring you a relaxing episode. My pronouns are he or she or they. Pick your poison. Let's go. Iyashi-kei.
Sorry, I just had like an allergic reaction to your voice.
Was that the joke?
No,
was
I haven't said the joke yet. No, the joke that you wanted to hear that I promised you before we started recording was, so like Rim was like trying to figure out like why his sound was destroying him like for a long time. And so he was getting kind of like a little bit, hot and bothered about like how the computer was just being horrible. And so I was going to make the joke. Which was, you could probably use some Iyashi-kei right now.
That's not a joke. Go fuck yourself.
It's not a joke.
You know what is a joke? Your attempted freaking ASMR. That was a joke. I felt physically itchy.
I don't claim to be a professional.
Okay.
I pretend to know how to make good sounds with my mouth, but in fact, all I just make are like kuchipaku noises. That's all I do.
Fair enough. And also, Aki, your reason for, or more like my reason for not including afternoon is the time of the siesta, and people should not be doing anything in it. Classes should just be banned in the afternoon. That's my reasoning. The only time to do anything is at night or in the morning.
I was going to like bring up the fact that like Rin is nocturnal, and so therefore afternoon greeting not existing is actually quite appropriate for him.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm just here to represent the afternoon people who are alive in the afternoon.
I thought you always take afternoon naps.
I feel represented.
Actually, I do take afternoon naps, but they're like 15 minutes long.
I had one today. It was like a whole hour, and I woke up and I was like, "What day is it? What year is it?"
I try and take like a 20-minute nap, and I wake up 6 hours later, like having missed all the appointments I've put in.
I have to like, put an alarm.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like,
But then
the one thing I use Siri for is to set alarms for when I take naps.
Ah, very good. I love this invention called the alarm clock, Rin.
No, I've like
very
evolved
useful.
past my alarm clock. I can sleep through the alarm clock.
Obviously,
that's why you need to buy
no
multiple.
longer affects you.
Yeah, I need to
that's why
actually
you need
put
more
on the
than
other side of
one.
my
That's why
room.
they're so cheap.
True. I did buy one for like, what is it, Sand, and it's still working, thankfully, after me slapping the shit out of it, throwing it across the room.
Oh my god. What are we here to do again? Like, are we here to like destroy alarm clocks, or are we here to like? Oh, I mean, like, I'm having a good time, just vibing. But like, probably the people who are listening are wondering why there's like pictures of cute girls on the screen, and also like a title.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, you're welcome. Everyone needs this sometimes. Which leads us nicely into our theme of the week. Iyashi-kei. Okay, for those who may not know, it's becoming, I don't know, semi-common knowledge in the otaku community, but Iyashi-kei is actually a Japanese word, obviously, meaning healing.
What?
Or healing type.
It's Japanese? This whole
Yes, it
time
is
I thought it
Japanese.
was French.
Well,
Iyashi-kei.
you're an idiot. If you wouldn't mind moving to the next slide, please, then.
Yeah.
Burn.
Next slide.
This slide is for you. If you're on the right, that's a quite liberal attitude to handwriting in Japan, but that's the kanji for iyas. On the left, also shown by yashi, meaning soothing, healing, or solace. And it means to, I don't know, to lick the wounds of, I don't know, what would you call it? Like, it is literally just healing. You can
Modern
heal.
society.
Yes, you can physically heal something, like yes. Kizu? What would you, yes?
Kizu, yes.
Yeah, you can see that.
I mean, if we're going by polka dot stingray lyrics,
Like
it'd
to
be
soothe
more,
someone's wounds, to heal someone's wounds.
yes, you can heal
Kokoro
someone's wounds, but
yasu.
this is to heal someone's wounds of the heart or the soul. It's a different kind of healing.
I mean, if anime could physically heal you, that it will be a lot more popular, I think.
Well, I mean, the physical is connected to the mental, and I mean, by feeling you're getting better, it
That is
does
true.
give you a bit of a boost.
You'll watch like what's the great movie set in Colombia? Encanto. You'll watch Encanto and you're like there's like the mum who can like make food that heals people of like broken bones and stuff. Imagine if there's like an anime where you just sit down and you watch it and then like your horrible illness is just like, oh wow, thanks anime.
I mean, if you go and watch Boku no Pico, I mean, whatever illness you had seems quite light in comparison when you leave.
That's one way to do it. It's like, well, nothing can be as bad as what I just experienced.
Is this the first time we brought up Boku no Pico in a podcast?
We've managed to not
yeah,
talk
it
about it
doesn't-
for two episodes. That's
amazing.
That's our as far as we got. That's our streak.
I do apologize. Okay. Okay. What Iyashi-kei actually is kei is the Japanese word meaning like a type or something that, what would you call it? Like it's categorized by something. So Iyashi-kei means
in my
like,
mind, I think of it as like a genre. Is that kind of
yeah, a genre
like how
or an
you-
attribute.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
like-
a way
yeah.
to join things. So Iyashi-kei means something that belongs to, has the property of Iyashi, that it belongs to that group of healing things.
my experience with the word K is like with fashion. So like one of my favorite fashions is like morike, which is like when you dress as if you're from a mori, which is a forest.
So,
if you're learning Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, you're literally dressing like you're from the forest.
Rin, I hate to say this, but you are a little quiet. Is it possible to bring your mic a little closer?
I can. Although, how dare you ask the immortal?
Okay, that's better.
Okay,
that
what I was
poor
going to
guy
say,
with the back-breaking work.
Yes.
Back-breaking work. Yeah.
仕事量が多い, which means, quite literally, lot of work. Lot of work
悩
to
むあ
be
な
done.
たに読んでほしい4つの対処法. So it's
But
like,
before we get
they're
onto
trying to
that-
sell you. They're trying to sell you ways to get better. Sorry. Continue.
Yes. This is actually from an advertisement, I believe. So I'll just leave it attached in case you want to buy whatever product they're trying to sell you. But the thing is that Iyashi-kei, being a category, isn't just a category of anime or manga, which is what it's most well known for nowadays. It's actually a genre of products, of people. So, for example, if you go to, say, like a maid cafe, which I sadly have not actually been to one, you can actually have not just like One-san types and sort of like, you know, what do they call it? Like friggin' tsundere types and things like that. You can actually have Iyashi-kei of people, and they're people who have a sort of healing, motherly presence.
Oh,
It's like
I like
a
those
marketable
people.
But see, it's like how you
Yeah.
have Yashi character, like Yashi,
Yes.
like calm, soothing characters.
Exactly. よくわかってるな.
Wow.
But like,
But yeah, mainly
I was
over the
so
past...
shocked. Oh, I was like so shocked to find out that it's like it's not just like an anime genre. It's not just like a media thing. It's like literally like anything can be Iyashi-kei as long as it has this vibe, this effect on you. And like, wow, I should like develop some Iyashi-kei stationery, or like I should like have like a table that is Iyashi-kei. Like all this stuff needs to be developed. Like there's a lot of work to be done.
Exactly. But it exists because, as I'm sure we all know, although we haven't been exposed to the worst of it ourselves, I would assume, but Japanese society is tough. Like, it can be quite hard to live in, especially if you're a Saturday mom or someone working full-time. The work culture is pretty hard to get by in, you know? Like,
Well,
I'm sure we've all heard horror stories. Now, I mean, nowadays it's obviously a lot better, but I mean, like, Showa era until, like, I don't know, 2000s, there's some pretty bad shit was happening before the awareness of black companies and stuff.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think the awareness has helped, but yeah, definitely like the long hours and the expectations to do things outside of work as part of work, but like it's not work, but you kind of have to say yes, and I don't know, bullying and stuff. I guess some of it's universal and some of it's just like Japan just has a little bit more of it, and it's not comfortable to live in, I guess.
Well, exactly. There's still bullying and stuff exists in workplaces. I mean, all over the planet. But the idea of like basically keeping your thoughts to yourself is obviously does exist, but it's taken quite seriously in Japan. Like the tatemae honne sort of thing. Like basically you put up with whatever shit happens to you at work and you go let out the stress somewhere else is the common idea here.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Which is why there's so much like stressasan, like the sort of, that's why like batting centers and karaoke and stuff do so well. It's just, or like, you know, izakaya, like you go and drink away your problems, you go and shout away your problems, but you deal with it when it's actually happening, which is why workplaces can devolve into these kind of horrific places. But anyways, these pictures are meant to demonstrate the common problems that some people might be dealing with in their day-to-day life, especially the sort of the office workers of Japan, which is sort of what Iyashi-kei is aimed at. I mean, that's, I'd say, the target audience, if you were to generalize it. Would you agree?
Yeah. It's like stressed people, stressed adults.
Yes.
Stressed adults. Although I think Iyashi-kei works for like, I don't know, stressed jukensei, like if you're taking exams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Please, next slide, Zen.
All right, next slide. We're looking at what appears to be a jukensei.
Yes.
What's a
As Aki just pointed out, this is jukensei problems, which are basically if you're in. Don't applaud that.
Listen, we've all been there. Like we've all like had I have an exam in 1 month that is going to decide a large portion of my future, and I would like to scream. But you can't because you just have to keep studying.
You can scream. Go and scream.
Well, like in my town in Geelong, we don't have a karaoke place, so I couldn't scream. All I could do was
you just have
like,
the police called on you.
True. Although I did actually, like, there's an empty house near me, and so like I would just go in there and I would just like belt Vocaloid songs when I was like 17 studying for exams. Like,
what?
It was very good. Yeah, no, literally, it was great. It was great.
Who has an abandoned house near they live where they go and just belt out Vocaloid? Well, I don't know, just talking about personal anecdotes, I mean, I did not have a great time being a jukensei in what Australians would call year 12. Like, we don't separate them into sort of, what do you call it, like the chuko, etc. But, like, not a good time. Because, I mean, you have, what is it, like, at least 50% of your entire subject grade is put into this final exam. And in Japan, it's even worse because the competition, the sheer competition of trying to get into these universities, a few private ones, mostly national universities, which there's that enormous paradox on why national universities are both the target of all these rich, extremely intelligent people who don't need the government subsidized cheap education. But that's probably another day's topic, you know.
Oh yeah, I'd love to talk about that another time.
And like the fact that national universities in Japan are subsidized to be what they call it? Basically, in US dollars, probably $6,000, something like that per year, no matter where you go. And this is like probably 70% of the top universities in the country.
Ray,
Are all extremely cheap.
we're off topic.
It doesn't matter.
Being Jukensei is suffering.
Being Jukensei is very suffering because you have an awful lot of people all aiming for the top spot, and generally, I mean, not generally, but it is a very known case of parents basically doing their all and applying an awful lot of pressure on their children to get into these universities, which often only have 1 or 2 chances at exams to get in. And if you miss that chance, if you fail the exam, you either give up and go on to another university, which is probably going to be worse, or you hold yourself up in your room or go to what is it, Juku? Like a sort of cram school for an entire year to try and get in again. And the sort of stress that it has on these people is immense.
Indeed.
Like, I mean, I think Singapore is a bit worse than Australia in this regard. I think there's a bit more.
Singapore's like pretty close to Japan in the way that just like your life is terrible in the last year of school in general. It's just hell.
The whole last year.
It's not great.
Yeah, just the whole last year. I mean, people take it on different levels of serious, but like the whole last year is pretty much like it's like why you shouldn't be having fun. You shouldn't be having fun, and you should totally just be like studying at home. But that's you know, that's how these systems are designed.
But I don't know why we should just do an episode on why we should overthrow the education system.
Yeah,
basically
as a
all
teacher,
countries.
I will walk next to you as we overthrow like the Juken system. Like it's not good for anyone.
Yeah, grab your pitchforks.
Yep. We're all going to take down Sentashken, VCE exams, whatever Singapore has for 18-year-old exams. Yeah, just get rid of them.
Exactly. But anyways, getting back to this Iyashi-kei thing, the point is that from the entire time, from when you start taking school seriously, which is in Japan generally middle school, is when parents and stuff start getting pretty strict and kids start getting into going to, what do you call it? Like Juku, which is,
Juku.
What do you call it, Juku?
Juku. Well, you got Juku, and you also got Yobiko, and like
Yobiko.
I don't actually know like I don't know the difference between
different variations of school on top of your mandatory school.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then like you've got
generally
like
after school,
Naraigoto, like where you go and like you learn like something else.
Naraigoto.
Like you might go learn a musical instrument, or you might go like I don't know, learn a sport or do a sport, and you got Bukatsu on top of that. It's just like give these kids a break. Yes,
exactly. You have these people who they're what 16, 17, and they have absolutely no free time because they're constantly giving 110% into studying and what do you call it, like sports, or like there's basically no time left for social stuff. They're incredibly stressed out, and then this continues into university, going across the incredibly stressful university entrance exams, and I mean, university can be a bit of a break for some people, not for us as it turns out. But I mean, all through university and into work life is also stressful. You don't really get a break, which is why this Iyashi-kei is so important. Do you all have any thoughts on this? Would you like to argue that it is in fact not stressful?
I think it's difficult to argue for that, even if I wanted to.
Yeah, it'd be a good test of your debate skills to be like, oh, well, actually, I think Juken is good for kids, actually. Some toughens them up, makes them strong. They fit all of the facts in their heads.
We all know anime good.
Anime is good.
Anime is not always good, but it's mostly good.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Anime to the rescue? Anime to the rescue?
Yes, anime is to the rescue.
What year is it?
It's 2022, you moron.
What year is it?
I forgot to date these. But basically, this one up in the top right corner is Akage no An, which is in English known as Anne of Green Gables, by... Is that Louisa May Alcott? Or is that someone else? I don't know, either way. But either way, this is an anime in the 70s.
Welcome to the podcast where we don't know the names of who wrote things that are on the screen.
Whatever,
it's
who
fine.
cares?
It's not from Japan, so we don't need to know.
Exactly. I think it's... Is it Canadian? Shit, I don't remember.
I think it's Canadian.
It's
yeah.
1979 is when this is turned into an anime in Japan. It goes for nearly a year, 50 episodes, something like that. And this, while not being strictly Iyashi-kei, I haven't seen the whole thing, unfortunately. It's got elements of it because it hasn't emerged as a marketable thing. It's not a genre unto itself yet. But it's popped into anime and stuff every now and then as in coming of age stories. In slice of life hasn't really evolved yet either, but some comedy, things like that.
What happens in Akage no An? What does it bring to the table?
What do you mean? What does it bring to the vegetables? Probably.
Does she go and play in a field or just
It's the story. I mean, according to the book and stuff, it's basically a girl is sent off to live with these people, and she matures as a person, and she basically.
And then she gets a girlfriend who has a nice yellow dress.
Yes, it's very lesbianic.
Okay, how are we going to rate that word, lesbianic?
Lesbianic.
I mean, that... getting there... the correct term would be sapphic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're getting pretty close there.
Too passionate. No, it's just it needs to sound brutal and... What do you call it?
Academic.
With iron efficiency. Just...
the complete opposite of what it is.
Lesbianic sounds like some kind of manufacturing term. It's we use the
Yes.
lesbianic processor to flatten the metal. No,
we're ready
okay,
the lesbianic laser.
Oh dear God. So I like Akage no An, the vibe in Japanese pop culture is it's that nice atmospheric, kind of dramatic but kind of laid back anime that's kind of old, but everyone's kind of seen reruns of, except for myself and maybe Aki. But
I haven't seen it.
Me, to be honest, I've only seen bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, but it's referenced quite often, and I think
it's quite well known in Japanese pop culture.
It is. I didn't really realize that's where Iyashi-kei got some of its inspiration from.
Exactly. Well, it's not exactly inspiration. It's more some of the themes are present here. So you've got the idyllic backdrop. You've got some of the pacing and stuff like that. The fact that you can just sit back and relax with some of the content is already leading into Iyashi-kei territory, even though this is more of a coming of age, possibly, drama.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say that this is not Iyashi-kei, but it's one of the first few examples of when we see parts of the Iyashi-kei appearing in the general scene.
Exactly.
And then we get your favorite, Rin.
Well, it's not my favorite, but I mean...
she's one of your favorite girls who wrote this.
Yeah. But leaving that aside.
Continuing right along. You got Maison Ikoku?
Yes, this is... Maison Ikoku is... It's not quite Iyashi-kei either. This is... When was this? Was this 1980...
I got you, fam.
I feel it was late 80s, 1989? Or 1981? Shit.
The anime was...
Oh, no, because the anime aired it in the last year or two of the manga, and the manga started in, I think, 1981.
Ah, yeah, so this aired 86 to 88. So this is 5 to 10 years after Akage no An, right? So we're mid to late 80s.
This is a while, and this is, I think,
that is a while.
after... It is a while. It's still sparingly used, because back then, a lot of other things were popular. What was that, the era of Gundam?
It was very much Gundam.
Different sort of. Yeah, it's a very different sort of playing field for releasing anime. You're up against a lot of different stuff, and by putting something imagine releasing something equivalent to Lucky Star in the 70s, it would just flop.
Yeah.
The world was not ready for it.
Yeah, it wasn't meta enough.
Exactly. Yeah. Is it Takashi Rumiko?
Yeah,
is the one who wrote it. This came, I think, was it a second work? I don't know. This is after Urusei Yatsura, but it's quite slow paced. It's a romantic drama slice of life, kind of, with Iyashi-kei elements.
By the way, Rin, what else did Takahashi Rumiko write? So the listeners recognize the name if they don't already.
Takashi Rumiko is famous for writing, well, firstly, Ranma, and also Inuyasha.
Inuyasha.
If you're into Inuyasha as well, yeah. And a few other things, including... Actually, I'm really excited about Urusei Yatsura coming this year, but never mind that. The, Maison Ikoku is basically about a woman who becomes the new sort of landlord of this, like a duel, I don't know what you call it. I guess it's a dormitory. Yeah.
Our listeners know all about dormitories.
Yeah, of course. This is a very different vibe. This is Showa. But basically, she's very young. She's, 21, 22, something like that. And she meets this dude called, Goto, or whatever his name is, who's, again, dealing with a lot of stress. He's, Dornian.
Which guy is it in the picture?
I can't really see. Middle dude with the
blue sweater guy? Ah, all right.
Yeah,
so she meets him.
That's him.
And they have,
he's still living
relaxing
at the
adventures?
No, that's the thing.
No.
He's basically dealing with a lot of stress because he's trying to pass his his entrance exam into university. I think Kyoto University or something similar. But maybe I'm completely getting them mixed up. He's trying to aim for something high up, and he's constantly distracted by the other crazy residents at the door. It's like an early dinosaur kind of thing going on. But basically, she's the sort of new girl and who sort of shakes up his life, all sort of Hollywood style and stuff. But the fact is, she's a widow, and she's dealing with the relatively recent death of her husband, who she married quite young, and he's basically trying to help her out of this sort of spiral of depression. And
dude, this is heavy.
It is very heavy, but the thing is that they're overcoming this sort of trauma. And that's a theme. It's even though it's not aimed at audiences as an Iyashi-kei, because
it didn't
you're sort of
exist back
watching
then.
two people heal very slowly. It's actually quite soothing. It's healing in its unto itself. You sort of know what I mean?
It's like you've got people who have experienced trauma, and it's them literally yasareru. They're being healed from that trauma on screen in front of you.
Well, basically,
that sounds really
healed
nice.
From
actually,
it. He doesn't have a lot to work through, but still, it's basically him helping her through it. Often quite
interesting,
with a lot of brute force, because he's a bit of an asshole. But it gets good.
And if he fails to heal her spiritually through his presence, what he can do is he can go and buy some perfume, perhaps a perfume diffuser, and give that to her, and then maybe she'll feel a little bit better. Look, dude, the picture you chose is literally an ad for perfume.
Whatever.
What? You didn't notice that the picture you chose was a perfume ad? It's a diffuser.
No.
That's so funny. I mean, I could go for it. It doesn't say what it smells like, but I'm sure it smells like healing and peace.
What if I'll buy it? I'll go back to 1986 and buy it, and we'll review that at a later date.
Fantastic. We'll do a live stream where we just spray Maison Ikoku perfume all around my room. Look forward to that, subscribers.
I cannot imagine it would smell very good.
I love 40-year-old perfume.
40-year-old anime tie-in perfume.
All right.
Okay.
Next slide, please.
Either way, yes, please.
Boop.
Wait, why'd you say please if it's yours? Okay.
No, I'm trying to train both of you into saying next slide, please, because it's better than next.
Next slide.
Better than go to the next one. I don't know. I don't know.
You sound like an orc out of Lord of the Rings.
I'm pretty sure I said next slide, please, or some variation of them.
You did say some variation of. I'm just. I don't know. Next slide, please.
Give me the next slide, you wanker.
I'm going to keep that as a drop for later.
Okay. Anyone who's among us who can read numbers might recognize this as...
Among Us?
No, let's just ignore that.
I'm so sorry. I just watched the documentary on Among Us, and so it's stuck in my head again. Sorry, keep going.
No. Please, no, stop. Okay, either way, if you see here, this is in the late 80s, but what we're really looking for is what happened after 1990. This is when the economy starts to go a bit crazy. So in Japan, you had this bubble, which happened in, the 80s, where price and stuff things start going a little too well, and people are predicting that the yen is going to fall. And in 1990, mid-1990, I think, it does quite spectacularly. And if you go to the next slide...
Yes, it drops and it doesn't come back up again. So, wait, just for the people who can't read Japanese, would anyone like to say, what the title of this graph is?
No, not really.
That's so mean. Why are you like... Okay, well, I care about our listeners who can't read kanji, and so I'll read it for you. So the top says, this is the average price of Nikkei stocks, which is like the Japanese stock market, right?
Yep, essential.
So they had like a stock market crash, didn't they? Like starting from 1990-ish.
I mean,
yes,
they had
mid-1990s.
everything crash.
Crash bang.
And what happened is because they weren't prepared to take drastic measures, like there wasn't going to be any sort of it gets worse before it gets better thing. They tried to minimize the damage, and by doing that, they prolonged it, like tearing off a band-aid really slowly. So what happened is the economy does not make a fast recovery after getting worse. It just sort of stagnated for quite a long time. And people still, this is known as the Wakatta Furi, I think, which is like the lost 10 years, lost decade.
The lost decade, yeah.
Which, I mean, looking at the progress of the yen and stuff now, it's still sort of ongoing. It's still, it hasn't really made
They've
its way
lost
back
so
up
many
yet.
years that this is just their reality now.
It's now
It's
the
like we lost 10 years, 20 years, 30 years.
And then the whole world,
Yes.
the entire globe collectively lost, 3 years now, so.
Exactly.
At time of recording. In
I think-
2022.
I think in about 2017, it was actually starting to kick up a little bit, and then COVID came and just killed it. So it's not doing that well. But either way, this, along with a few other factors, which we'll get to in a minute, basically the economy pretty much diving in the early 90s and all through like staying pretty low all through the 90s is generally quite good stimulus to people need to feel better because jobs are not going well. Like, I think the average, what do they call it? The real wages and stuff are low. Like, businesses are going, just crashing. Nothing's working properly.
Businesses are going broke. People don't have money. And because the
there's no
businesses
job
are
security.
going broke, you don't have a stable job. And so lots of people were forced out of their you say you trained to be I don't know, some trade, or you went to uni and you just did like a generic degree to go into generic company. And then you go in and you lose your job, and then you have to find some other industry where you can find employment in. And that's when you get all of the unstable employment. Is that like frita? Is that this era when all that started? When people would just work freelance stuff and kind of hobble together a living through that?
Honestly,
I do not know.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
But this economy kind of calls for that behavior, so I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, but either way, this is not a good time to be investing in anything. It's not stable. Your finances are not stable. Your job isn't very stable. So people are generally pretty stressed out. They actually started taking a survey. The Ministry of Health, Labour and Welfare, I think it's called, put out a survey once a year. I don't know if it's part of the census or what.
Mohaful.
Yes, that. And
what did the Mohaful find out?
what they say is, stress kanjitemasu ka? Basically, are you feeling stressed? And it started going up. From the mid-90s, it just kept on rising. So people are not having a good time. Yes. So by that time, the mid-90s is sort of when things get to a head, and Iyashi-kei actually becomes a marketable thing. It's actually been called a marketable feeling by some American author who I haven't read his stuff, even though I probably should. Because he actually has quite a few interesting things to say on this theme. But if you can go to the next one, please. Bad things happen.
I don't like that.
Do you know where this is?
The city's not supposed to look like that, is it?
No, but do you know which city it is? It's probably not really recognizable in these pictures.
I've the bottom right one is a super famous picture, and I've seen it. I'm gonna take a guess. This is the freaking Hanshin earthquake, and that's gonna be it's gonna be either Kobe or Osaka. I'm gonna say Kobe.
It is Kobe. You are right. It actually started in Awaji Island, which is why it's called the Hanshin Awaji Dai Shinsai. Means the sort of Kobe, Osaka area, Awaji Island area, big earthquake disaster thing. Not a good time. This is the second biggest earthquake of... I'll just run over some stats for a bit. I think you all know this anyway, but second biggest earthquake of the 20th century, pretty much, in terms of damage, after the 1923 Great Tokyo earthquake killed 100-something thousand people.
Yeah.
There's 6,500 deaths. About 2/3 of those are from Kobe, because they got a full 7 on the Shindo scale, which is
the worst that you can possibly
violent. Yes, it's quite
Catastrophic
shallow,
levels.
very fast. Yeah, it only went for like less than a minute. I think it was like 20 or 30 seconds, and it killed so many people. This is like a 7.3 on the Richter scale, by the way.
Yeah, like directly underneath a hugely like populated area. Yeah. That's bad.
Yeah, it's really not good. And Kobe did not have sufficiently earthquake-proof buildings at the time because, what is it, like 1982 or something? They had those reforms put in to make everything a bit less wobbly.
Yeah, so this is like in the 90s, right? But like
Yes,
most of the buildings that existed in the 90s were built like not in the 90s because that's how buildings and cities work. And so like they were all like from the pre let's make things not fall down in earthquakes standards era. And so things did the falling down in earthquakes because they weren't built well.
Yes, because if you build your house out of wood, the standard procedure in Japan is to rebuild it every, 15, 25 years, something like that, just to keep it standing up. Whereas they haven't been rebuilt under stronger legislation. So everything's not very well put together. Kobe's quite steep, quite small, whatever it is. And basically you end up with a lot of shaky, a lot of collapsy, a lot of fire. Like, it's not a good time.
Yeah.
And what happened is immediately afterwards, it becomes a major trauma for quite a lot of the population. It's still quite traumatic for some people to look into this. It's sort of like the 2011 earthquake, you know. And 50,000 people immediately left. Yes. Yeah,
50,000?
50,000 people. A lot more were displaced. It's like over 200,000 people something were displaced, and you have 50,000 people immediately just left the area, not living there anymore.
Oh my god, that's full on.
It's calamatic. Yeah, it's calamatic.
Yeah.
It was enormous. And then, if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide.
Sure. Do you remember did you have like the teacher who like in geography lessons, like she mentioned that like she was living in Osaka during this earthquake? Did she tell you that story?
No, but you told me about it. What did she say?
She's like, so she was like a university student during this earthquake, and she was living in like, I think southern Osaka somewhere. And like, I think it was in the morning, and she's like, so she wakes up to this really, really scary earthquake, and she's like 18 or 19 or something. So she's like really, really freaked out by this. And so the first thing she does, of course, is like she gets on the phone and she calls her mum, who's like on the other side of the country. And her mum's like, oh, what time is it? It's too early. Like, oh, you had an earthquake? Oh, all right. Well, I'm going back to bed. And then the mum, like, and so like our teacher, like, she's like, oh, I guess I don't have classes today. But anyway, her mum, like a couple hours later, like she obviously wakes up and she's in her right mind. She turns on the TV and she's like, sees what's happened. And she's like, oh no. Oh, that was why my daughter called me this morning. Whoops.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not good.
But yeah, luckily, because our teacher was fine. But yeah, it's pretty cataclysmic.
Yeah, this actually happened at 5:46 in the morning. So exactly.
No wonder her mum was not awake. Okay, right. Yeah, that's a bad
prepared.
time. No one was like awake even.
No one's got their bags at the door ready to go. Like it's over very fast, and yeah.
And the thing is, fun. Like this should probably be its own episode or something if we want to talk about it. Probably. But like the fact that because the Osaka area was for a long time believed to be like quite impervious to earthquakes. I believe it's like, oh well,
even now for some reason.
Places, yeah. Listen, people have surprisingly short memories, and like, well, I mean, me too, but like. Yeah, so they were like really shocked that such a huge earthquake hit this area because like no one was kind of like expecting it. But
it's actually under Awaji Island, which is like in between Shikoku and Honshu, like over sort of, it's the one that connects that enormous bridge from Kobe to Awaji. It was like actually under the island there.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the Philippine plate and the Japan plate, or I forget which other one it hits, is like, yeah, like Japan is covered in these enormous tectonic boundaries and faults and shit everywhere and volcanoes. Like, there's not really a safe area. There's just slightly more safe areas. Or slightly less dangerous areas, I should say.
Yeah, can I take the opportunity to quickly say that we've been talking about background information a lot more than the actual thing.
This is true. We should probably,
Okay, slightly faster. Next slide.
Earthquakes bad. 1995, not good times.
You know what's also not good? Gas. Chemical weapons.
Ah, yeah, good old gas.
What happened to my train? Is that a subway? What happened to my subway?
This is a subway in Tokyo in 1995. This is the sarin gas attack, which is basically proved to quite a lot of people that things like this do happen, which is not a good thing to learn. It's like sarin gas, if you don't know, is a chemical weapon. Like, it completely fucks you up. And I think it killed a few people. It injured a hell of a lot more.
Was it like 12 or something?
More than the actual death
like
toll,
that.
it was the psychological toll it took on the entire country.
Yes, because
this was like right in the middle of Tokyo, right? Like this is like
this
like
was the
Parliament.
Yes,
it's like
this was the line going past Parliament. Yes, this was I think two lines. I think going past Parliament. So you've got people just going on their way to work, and then suddenly they're coughing up blood and shit. Like it's
terrorism.
Yeah, again, it is terrorism. This was done by some weird ass cult who I think they've executed half of now. But basically, this is a very big cause of stress for the population because all of a sudden going to work is now scary. At least for people who are willing to brave it.
I don't like thinking about this. I want to think about something else.
Okay, so what do you do if you've been gassed, you've been earthquaked, you're feeling stressed out?
You've been gassed, you've been earthquaked.
So what would you do?
Go home and kick it and watch some anime.
Yeah,
Yes.
what Aki said.
Basically what happened is this Iyashi-kei had a massive boost. It became a very marketable thing. So you've got this, and the other main reason for it becoming popular is it's easy to replicate. It's not like a secret recipe. Like anyone can make an Iyashi-kei product or an Iyashi-kei like series. It's not that hard to incorporate into your own things. So just because it's sold well means other people start doing it, and now everything is Iyashi-kei.
Like this dog?
It's pretty common in
Yes.
anime. Like
It is nowadays. It's enormous. I mean, it never really dropped off, but we'll get to that in a bit. Do you know what this is, by the way? On the
Oh, I know exactly what this
left.
is. This is an
Would you mind explaining?
extremely healing product. So, in maybe mid 2000s, I used to like go on like a Tamagotchi website, and then it was made by some person, probably their 30s, someone with disposable income who's also an adult who knows how to like code websites. Anyway, so the same website as the Tamagotchi website also had like a mini site which was about the Eyeball, which is like an expensive robot dog made by Sony, and I wanted one. And they like go and they chase balls and they bark at you and cost a huge amount of money. And I asked my parents and they said no for some reason. So I was very surprised that they said no. They didn't want to spend a couple grand on it. But yeah, it's it looks relaxing. Would you buy one of these, Aki?
I did not. I did not. Obviously, I would not.
You would not.
Why would
You're
you
not
not?
a
It's so
robot
cute.
dog kind of person.
I'm not a robot. The kind of person.
just
I'm
as
not,
soft as a real dog.
Yeah, that's kind of a drawback. At least they
Yeah.
don't poop.
How do you know?
Oh yeah.
You didn't have one?
Ugh. Ugh. What if they did? What if they just like poop like kind of wet batteries everywhere? That'd be the worst.
Okay. Okay. Moving right along. Oh gosh.
Okay,
Sorry, Aki. You didn't deserve that.
I did not need that mental image.
oh dear.
So they make the relaxing dog.
Yes, you also make the relaxing music.
Ooh.
We'll get on to the dog stuff in a minute, which isn't that important, but it's probably worth coming back to. The other important thing to note here is this music called Energy Flow, which is, I think, Zen, you told me about it earlier. This is basically Energy Flow it's a piano piece by this dude, Sakamoto Ryuichi. But what happened is the first instrumental piece on the Oricon charts, which are the charts in Japan, to reach number one. And it's
It
specifically
reached number
marketed.
one. It has no words.
It reached number one and it has no words. And it was advertised as music for weary people. Weary people, I should say.
Like tired souls.
Yes, this is entirely Iyashi-kei music.
Wow.
So it just shows you how much people need this shit.
And what
And then
year
if you-
again?
1999, I believe.
Oh, so it's increasing. Like the amount of healing that society requires is increasing, and so they're making funky music, and everyone's buying it.
Yes, it's still selling.
Wow.
And then we're just going through a bit of a, what would you call this? What's the word I'm looking for? I've forgotten how to speak English.
In Yokohama.
No, I'm trying to think of like the word of, no, never mind, okay.
We're going to look through an assortment of anime which kind of fits the Iyashi-kei genre, in one way or
it's
another.
It's like a quality street, but more tasty.
Oh, welcome to Iyashi-kei Street. We're gonna give you a relaxing tour around countrysides, warm families, cute dynamics with cute girls doing cute things, kind of lots of different genres. I've seen a good video about this, but I haven't actually seen the series itself. I hear it was like OVAs.
Yes, it is. It's not as warm as the words you were just bubbling about just then. It's actually quite a weird choice, this one. But this is entirely...
The girl's an android, isn't she?
She is an android, and the thing is, the world is declining, and she's surrounded by people who have actually come to terms with the fact that humanity is on the decline, and it will probably end relatively soon.
Oh, it hits really close to home with like the global warming and climate change. And...
Yes, exactly. And she's an immortal android, so she doesn't have to deal with that shit. It basically follows her day-to-day life, surrounded by this, I don't know, really strange backdrop, both societally and, I don't know, I guess physically. Like, it's still got very nice backgrounds, but you know, it's a bit of a weird one. But it is Iyashi-kei. It basically follows her day-to-day life. It's quite soothing to watch. It's just got quite a few heavy themes in it, as most of the older Iyashi-kei stuff does.
Yeah.
Aki, have you seen this, or?
I've not seen this one. No. But I like how it establishes a precedent in the past for, like, just because it's Iyashi-kei doesn't mean it's like completely devoid of thematic exploration and kind of like a more realistic, or more. It doesn't. Iyashi-kei, while trying to soothe you and be this break from like the world, doesn't do it by excluding negative things. It does it by emphasizing on like everyday small happiness, the kind of normal good stuff.
Yes, you don't have to delete the bad. You just have to make it either manageable or emphasize the good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that phrase, like making it manageable. It's like because like healing isn't like getting better all at once. It's just like kind of dealing with things and then slowly getting better. And like with Maison Ikkoku, like it sounds like that was pretty heavy, but it just like slowly healing. And I don't know, I really like that.
Exactly.
And I
There's
think
a lot of
it
obstacles
pairs really well with the
through
settings that they choose.
Yeah,
like
it's
having the
very
nature
realistic
around.
escapism.
Exactly. If you wouldn't mind the next slide, please.
There we go. Hey!
Okay.
Oh, this is my childhood.
We got your boy, or should I say your girl. This is Azumanga Daioh, which is that I've listed the anime, the year of production for the anime here, but this is actually, I think, from 1998, 1999. I think 98 is when the manga originally came out. So it's actually 90s work. It was just animated in 2002. And this is actually regarded as the first proper sort of slice of life work. The first popular slice of life work. This sort of, I don't know, kickstarted the genre a bit. And
right,
the
now
reason I'm including...
you brought up the word. Sorry.
Yes.
Slice of life.
So
Now this is like it's messy. So like watching, when someone... Oh, yeah, go for it, Aki.
No, keep going.
Like when I saw that Azumanga Daioh was on the list for like the presentation and on a whole bunch of people's lists for Iyashi-kei, like, because I hadn't really thought about this series since I watched it in like 2007 or whatever, right? So
how dare you?
At the time, I was like, oh well, this is like cute girls and they're like, it's funny, it's like, but then thinking back on it, yeah, I like it does heal you. Like I think the thing that Azumanga Daioh does that like gives it an honorary Iyashi-kei title is the fact that there's like it's not heavy, it's I don't know, you can just kind of watch it forever and you're never going to feel like hugely stressed. Like, okay, there's some parts of it, it's like temporarily stressed, but you know that nothing bad is actually going to happen in the show. And it's just kind of funny and light. And I mean, it was healing for me. Like, I was having a rough time, in the years when I was watching this, whichever year it was. But yeah, things were rough for me around that time. And like, yeah, no, it was good for me, and I appreciate it. And yeah, I would gladly say that it's not a stereotypical Iyashi-kei, but like, worked for me.
Very well put. Okay, have you seen this?
I have not. I've seen clips, but I never had the opportunity to actually like watch it.
The clip's pretty good though.
Clips are fantastic. Like,
pretty good.
Because it's based on like, is it like it's not a yonkoma it's based on?
It is yonkoma.
I actually haven't read the manga. It is?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, well, because of like it's just like really short in like the original one, so the anime itself is also quite short, and so like it works really well with YouTube compilations because it's just like, here's a clip and that's it. Like, you can enjoy it.
It's hard and fast.
I highly recommend watching the clip, which is like Osaka, which is the second girl from the left. She like walks around with a knife. Which doesn't sound very healing, but like, it's really funny. And also the one where she throws her shoes. They throw their shoes to predict the weather. It's very funny. So
that was very funny, actually.
Viewers, yeah.
But piggybacking off Zen's comment from earlier, you sort of made it sound like Iyashi-kei isn't exactly a genre per se. It's the effect it has on people.
Oh yeah, true. Like, I keep getting caught up in like the Western thing, which is like Iyashi-kei is like a genre, but
exactly.
No, it's like, yeah, no, it healed me. Yeah, we can call it Iyashi-kei. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is why I've included it, even though it's sort of an Iyashi-kei and sort of not. It's a slice of life, which is known in Japanese as Nichijou-kei. It means literally everyday life type, everyday life. But in Japan, these are kind of blurred. The lines are very, very wobbly. Like,
they have a lot of overlap. They have a lot of overlapping aspects to them,
yeah.
but they're not the exact same. They don't aim to do the same thing. Iyashi-kei is very deliberately about providing a break from, or a way to manage negative emotion It's very much about managing negative like emotions and stress. While slice of life is a lot more like, it depends on what the slice of life is. Like, it could be using slice of life as like a comedy. It could be using it as an Iyashi, as a way of soothing you. It could be using slice of life as a way to do character studies.
Exactly. So what's up with this one is that it's not intended. It's not sold as an Iyashi-kei. It just has that effect on some people because of it's got a lot of the same elements. Like, you don't have the whole idyllic backdrop, which is the sort of, I don't know, it's quite necessary in some of the earlier works. Like, we'll go into Ari and stuff in a minute, but, Yokohama, and you've got, Akiyama and things like that. It's not idyllic like that, but it is incredibly relaxing. There's a lot of, like, I think we talked about this anime earlier. It's got a lot of empty space.
There's lots of cats.
There's a lot of cats.
And also empty space, yeah.
It's not cramped. It's not stressful at all in, like, its pace. In the sort of way it sets itself up. It's not stressful at all to watch. It's incredibly relaxing, even though that might not initially be the idea. I think it's mainly for comedic purposes, but it just so happens to sort of heal people.
Yeah,
which is why I've included it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the trip down memory. I do love Azumanga.
We shall go watch it later.
Forever be a classic. Yeah, I should rewatch it. God, it's good.
It is very good.
Next one?
Next bitter.
Moving on. Oh, I have not read this, frick. Oops.
I've only read bits and pieces again. I do apologize.
Is Yoshimato Iyashi? Oh, yeah, I guess it is Iyashi.
Yoshimato is Iyashi, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Yoshimato is not animated as of yet, mostly because this is just from what I remember, but I'm pretty sure people just, including the author, basically says it won't work as an anime. It works perfectly as a manga.
The author's like, no anime.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's infamous. It does its job very well. Everyone knows this.
Didn't the author also do something else?
I honestly don't know. Should I know this?
the author is definitely famous for something else as well. And oh my god, it's going to be really embarrassing if it's something really obvious. I need to look it up. Azuma
Azuma
Kiyohiko.
Kiyohiko? What is Azuma Kunda?
Hiko.
He did Azumanga Daioh.
Are you for freaking real? Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Okay, so I always thought the person who wrote Azumanga Daioh was a woman all of this time.
no.
Okay, I'm
Although
just having a slight breakdown on
Yeah.
microphone. Just please ignore me.
I'm ashamed I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
No, listen, this is the podcast where we tell our listeners at the start that we don't know the things. So therefore, they're coming to expect us to make huge revelations halfway through. So we're good. We're good, right? Okay.
Wait, anime is Japanese?
What? No. Anime is...
Anime. Manga. One of America's closest allies in the world. Thank you for all the things we love from Japan.
America. I was going to say America.
Oh,
Yeah.
America. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Nearly got that mixed up.
That would be embarrassing. Oh, all right. Yotsubato makes people relaxed because, like, nice pictures, I hear, like, laid back comedy. And also, apparently, I actually bought this manga in Japanese a number of years ago to teach, like, Japanese to, like weeb kids like myself, well, like I used to be, because it's like mostly hiragana, right? So I bought it and I was like, oh, I'm going to use this as a teaching resource eventually. I never got around to it, but I ended up using Yu-Gi-Oh instead because one kid was just really into Yu-Gi-Oh.
That is very
opposite of
random.
Iyashi-kei. But yeah, side note, it's a Japanese learning resource. If you go on like the internet, that's what they'll tell you.
It is, yeah, I have heard that it is quite commonly used to teach people reading skills in Japanese, which is kind of a weird thing,
Cute.
but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the other thing is, this is a story told mostly from the viewpoint of a child. So it's got that, there is no cause for stress, because children, as we all know, and all parents know, children don't have anything to be stressed about.
No, children are constantly in a state of relaxation and acceptance with the world exactly as it is. They have no needs or wants beyond what they already have. They are pure,
Wait till you grow
pure
up.
stillness. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
But either way, in this case, it does actually work a bit like that.
Yeah.
It's mostly just, idyllic day-to-day life, mucking around with your friends kind of thing.
I like the sunflowers.
Yes. The samurai that smells of sunflowers.
Ah, sunflowers. Ah, I'm feeling so like relaxed just looking at this front cover of this manga. I think I need to go read it. Yeah.
It genuinely got has like a lot of really good beats, just like really good comedic moments in it.
Ooh. I love the crossover of Iyashi-kei and comedy. I feel like comedy is like a big healing element in so many ways. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you don't include comedy, like, you really have to go pretty hard on, like, the atmosphere to make it relaxing, because comedy immediately loosens people up.
It does, yeah. That's why you two are so relaxed around me.
No, I'm tense. I'm so tense after hearing your jokes.
My joke
just makes his muscles tense up immediately.
I need a massage.
He has a fear reaction to my jokes. Whenever I say I'm going to say a joke, he just braces for impact.
I'm like, my jaw is shaking just from the stress.
Sweating bullets.
Don't say it.
No, it's a pun. It didn't even work. Oh, I need to go on a holiday and get like 15-foot massages. Anyway,
15-foot massages? Do they do a run up?
Yeah. Well, that's how many, like, if that's enough to do each toe once, and then 5 more if you've got, like, some particularly stressed toes. Anyway, speaking of Yotsubato, I think I should go read it.
Yes, you should. Anyway, next bitte.
We've devolved
Next.
into a language that we're not even focusing on, but I should learn anyway. Kitty!
Surprise! This is 2004, bitches. This is
2004 was a great year.
What a
2004
great
was a
year.
good year. 2004 is when, incidentally, a Japanese man had gone to Taiwan, where cat cafes were a bit of a thing since 1998. That's when they were invented in Taiwan.
Oh, classic Taiwan. Love them. Great country.
Yes. He brought back this idea of a cat cafe and started one in Osaka called... What was it called again? I think I wrote it down somewhere. I think it's called
It's going to be something
Neko no
like generic, like Neko Cafe or something.
Neko no Jikan.
Oh, okay, that works too.
Nice.
Cat time. It's just cat time.
Kitty
Is what it's
time.
called.
It's get time.
I don't know if this is still open. I think it may be, but either way, it's quite infamous. And this is actually...
Wait,
sort
infamous?
of
What did it
linked.
do? What did it do?
It's not...
Wait, what?
It's the first cat cafe.
It's infamous. Like, what did the cats
it's
attack someone? Like,
infamous.
what happened?
Amongst people who've gone to cat cafes, this is still famous. Perhaps not infamous, because it's
Oh,
the first
I
cat
see.
cafe. I think
Does
it
it still
does,
exist?
but let me have a look. I don't know if it does or not, but there was quite recent posting about it.
Interesting. It would be cool to be able to go to the first cat cafe
Like, if it was, like,
in Japan.
well known for something bad, I was going to say, I know which cat
Yes.
did it. Like, it's very obvious which cat did it. It's the one that's about to attack the photographer.
yeah.
Grumpy cat.
Oh dear. Oh dear, what's happened? My internet is not working.
It's not the first time tonight. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to comment on the decor. So I love the fact that you see in the far wall next to the door, there's like a white object which is shaped like cat ears, and it looks like a cat bed. I just wanted to point that out as being extremely adorable. Another cute thing is the clock on the wall. It has one of the cat ones where I assume it's one of the ones where the tail swings as it goes tick tock, goes back and forth. The cat tail, which I really want one of those. It's got like a tree inside to bring the nature vibes, which is very healing. We all know that nature is healing. Another thing
Nature
that's
is very
healing
healing.
is like tatami
Put some dirt in
rings.
your wings.
And so it looks like the floor is like not literally tatami because cats would destroy that immediately, but it's like
It's got a very-
tatami-esque.
Yes. It's
I
a
approve
very
of.
sort of, what do you call it? Jazzed up sort of sort of vibe.
Yeah, I like it so much.
And incoming report, by the way, the cafe is still open.
Yeah.
It's a
Trip to
franchise
Osaka
now.
when? Franchise, of course. it is.
Well,
Sasuga.
they've got a Honten at least, so they've got at least two. I think they've got more, but yeah. But
Well,
anyway,
you
if
message me later if there's one in
mind-
Fukuoka, and then we're going to go see some kitties.
Yes.
Meow.
Anyway, if you wouldn't mind, next slide, please.
Yes.
We'll go back to the
Goodbye,
anime
kitties.
/ manga.
Goodbye.
I think I know what's
Meow.
next.
Oh, I've
Yes.
heard of this one, and I have not watched it. But it's supposed to be
Yes.
super famous and like super long running. Is that right?
It is long running and
There was
they're
a
still
movie last
making
year.
adaptations. Yeah, there's still
Oh.
shit coming out. I don't know if it's ended or not yet, but it's like they're not milking it. I wouldn't say because it's too good quality to milk, but it's like it's still spawning adaptations.
Yep.
Wow. It's like
Continues
it's
to
like
be a work to this day.
not much
Yes.
stuff is still going that was in 2005 that's still good.
No, well, the manga's from 2001 to 2002.
Right.
Yeah, they're just making like new like show like TV just releasing more stuff for it still.
Just want to let you know, it didn't end in 2002. It moved to another magazine and went until 2008. And then the anime happened in the middle in 2005.
I remember
Then a
reading
sequel in
like
2006.
I remember reading an anime news network article in like 2008. It was like Aria's ending, and I'm like, "What's Aria?"
Yeah, sure, it's
but, like,
ending.
Question, like, no, legit question though. Like, what does Aria do that's like Iyashi-kei? Like, what? How does it do the relaxing? How does it do the healing?
It's mostly the environment. I've only seen bits and pieces of this, unfortunately. I'm a failure of an Iyashi-kei fan.
Oh,
But
it's okay.
It's basically set in is it terraform Mars? Yeah, I think they
Ooh.
terraform Mars and make it into this sort of
Great board game, by the way.
like it's just covered in oceans and stuff. So automatically you've got this new sort of environment to work with. It's not Earth. You don't have to go set it in the jungle or something, like somewhere realistic. It's like, yeah.
And so they made Venice.
Yeah, they made Venice, pretty much.
Hey.
Yes. So there's gondolas and shit, which is already, you've got oceans and sort of otherworldly landscapes, and then you've got like the exoticness of Venice, which is almost more exotic than Mars in this case. Like, why the fuck do they need
You're not wrong, and
gondolas?
I love it. I love going to another planet, but more than going to another planet, I love going to Venice.
Yes. I mean, Venice is nice
Venice
too.
is not sinking, right? Ooh.
No. I don't. Every time you say something like that reminds me of like impending doom, I need to watch another episode of Iyashi-kei.
Yes, let's go Control-C, Control-V Venice onto Mars before we lose it.
Is that what we're doing? Is that what Elon Musk is doing? Oh, all right. Okay.
Fuck Elon Musk. It's just
Me too. I echo Lynn's sentiment. But Aria, like good and popular.
it's pretty. It's at least well known. I don't think a lot of people have actually seen it, unfortunately, because honestly, most of the people I know nowadays haven't watched that much stuff pre-2010.
This is
Probably
true.
just
Yeah,
they
there's like
true.
a new. It's a whole another like topic, but there's like a new wave of anime watchers who just don't watch old stuff.
They only watch seasonal stuff. It's really fucking weird. Like, I understand not having time, but still, like, go watch some old stuff. It'll give you a much better background knowledge on how things work.
Yeah.
I'm going to be devil's advocate for these people who haven't watched much old stuff. I'm going to say that, like,
Fuck
just
you.
the sheer. I was going to say the sheer volume of quantity of volume and quantity. The sheer volume and quality of new stuff. Like, I can understand why they don't have much time to go back. And also, they got Jugen to study for.
But honestly,
I mean,
the
new
stuff
stuff
from
is
recently,
like
quality
not all
is a
great.
hard sell. I
All
wouldn't say
right, okay.
There were some seasons back in the day that had much more, what do you call it, good quality series airing than stuff nowadays. I mean, honestly, nowadays you'd be lucky if you have 2 good anime in a season.
Yeah.
And you have really any,
I'm going to point at the last couple seasons, and I'm going to call your bluff on that one. But yeah, no, I
Unusual.
I think people should probably, including myself, I'm saying this to myself as well. I think we should go back and like appreciate some of the roots of these genres, just kind of so we can appreciate the new stuff more deeply as well.
Most people I ask haven't seen Haruhi.
Understandable. Like it feels like it's becoming less relevant.
How do you want it to not be
I'm not
relevant?
saying I don't love it. I love it, Rin, but even I appreciate the aging of the series as I have aged. So as we all shall age.
Yes, we all do.
That's it. But yeah, Gondola's good. I should go back and watch some Gondolas.
Yes. So basically what this anime does is just a quick overview. It's just like exploring pretty girl, just like steering gondola around and just like looking at very nice backdrops. It's apparently quite similar to what we were talking about earlier, the Yokohama Kaidashi-kiko. It's a bit similar to that. Like, you've got a sort of foreign world, even though one's technically Earth. And, like, yeah.
I would say
it's
this
like a
is
mix of
kind
the-
of the. I would say this is the foundational Iyashi-kei world.
Yes, this is the one that shows up if you search Iyashi-kei, basically.
Yeah.
It's quite famous.
It's the poster child.
And I think the reason it works is because by basically completely changing your, I don't know, like, you're literally removing Earth from this equation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever problems you have in real life are completely removed from the equation. You're watching shit happening on Mars in a very nice location. Like, you
That
don't have
sounds
to
really
worry about real
nice.
life. There's nothing that triggers you.
Yeah, I'm sold.
Yes,
Yeah,
so go watch it.
sorry, you two. I'll leave the rest of the podcast to you two. I'm gonna go watch some girls, just with some boats on Mars. I'll see you in like how many episodes? Oh
Nice.
yeah, I'll be back in a bit.
It's quite a few. It's like 50 something, I think.
Oh, okay. I'll
there's
see you in 4
one there.
days' time.
But yeah, either way, next slide if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, I haven't
Yes.
watched much of this.
Go watch it. Okay, this is a bit of a weird one. This isn't really listed as Iyashi-kei, but I thought it deserved a mention. Basically, what this is one of the progenitors, if you could call it, of Kuki-kei, which is cute girls doing cute things.
Kuki-kei? That's a new word for me. I've never heard of that before. Yes. Can you explain that?
Kuki is literally translated as air in Japanese, but it's so much more than air. It's like kuki o yomu, like a kuki kwas. Like it's the atmosphere. It's the vibe.
It's the vibe.
It's happening.
It's girls vibing.
Girls vibing.
Yes, vibing.
Vibing.
So what this is generally, it's literally just cute girls doing cute things. So what this is,
that's Kuki-kei.
Yes, this is Kuki-kei, but because of, cute girls doing cute things is generally, it's not quite marketed as a Iyashi-kei, but overlaps so much that it's often advertised as basically the same thing in Japan. Like a lot of cute girls doing cute girls doing cute things stuff is incidentally Iyashi-kei and vice versa.
Listen, there's something about girls just like chilling and doing random stuff.
Or
and
art
just
in this
like case. Art, doing whatever it is that they're into. In this case, they're doing the drawings. And
yes, hence sketch.
It's just relaxing. And then like there's the equivalent with boys as well. I feel like, I don't know if it's Iyashi-kei, but like also just like the relaxing vibes of like the Danshi Koukosei no Nichijou, is that what it's called?
That is on Iyashi-kei lists sometimes. But honestly, I'm not on board with it.
Really?
I love
is it too comedy?
So much. It's the comedy is so hard that I'm not sure it counts.
Maybe it's feeling in a more comedic way.
When you're like laughing your ass off.
I am.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it sort of counts, but it's not supposed to be soothing. It's supposed to be entertaining, and it really is.
I see. Okay, so, there's a difference there.
Yes, and then if you're going to sell like like cute guys doing cute things, I don't know what you call it. Then like what are they called?
Cute guys doing cute things.
Gakuen babysitters or whatever it is. Things like that have been around for a good 15 years as well. So like that's still a sort of concurrent thing. It's just the cute girls doing cute things is a little more popular. In this case here, the Money Sketch is actually, I think 2007. There's, I think, been 4 series and a couple of OVAs in that time. But it's basically about a girl who joins a high school for art students. And she does sketching and
she has
stuff
to join
like
the dorm, doesn't she?
Yes, she joins this Hidamari. Is it your Hidamari? Basically this dorm called Hidamari, and basically hangs out with these 3 girls and the 2 ones in the back of the senpai. But it's incredible. It's not stressful in the slightest. It's quite funny. And, like, the vibe is just incredibly soothing. Like, at the end of every episode, the main girl, I forget what her name is, she just goes and has a bath and just ponders the day's events. And it's just the most relaxing stuff I've ever heard. And they play this super soothing ending thing. Like, it is comedy and slice of life comedy, but at the same time, it's super Iyashi-kei, like, if you're into that.
Well, I like drawing.
Yes.
I like cute girls doing cute things, and I like Iyashi-kei, and I like comedy.
Yes.
Wow.
You love this.
The only thing is it's by Shaft, so it's like little spanner thrown in the works there. But I mean,
it looks funky, basically.
It's a wee bit funky, but it's not really. It's not a hard sell like in the way that say Madoka is. It doesn't fuck with your mind at all.
Very good. I'd love if this just pulls a Madoka, like on episode 7. It's just like, oh, by the way, like this dorm is like full of people who have committed horrible sins in their past lives, and they're atoning, and now there's like explosions and everyone's dying or something. Like that'd be
yes, always a good series.
I trust Shaft with my emotions. I do not trust Shaft with my emotions.
I really like Shaft. I'm not sure about the decision to do that freaking Rooster Teeth shit. But that's another story.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. We can comment on it once it's happened.
Yeah. Okay, if you wouldn't mind the next slide.
Yes. Sure.
Please. Yes.
My childhood is back. Yes.
Yes. Okay, this is
bitch.
Yes. Okay, this is obviously Lucky Star. In case you can't read that says Lucky Star.
If you speak English, there's also Lucky Star at the top right, just in case.
Rocky Star.
Rocky Star.
Rocky Star.
The manga's actually pretty old. I think it's 2003. Like, it's been around for quite a long time. It's nearly 20 years. But the anime is from, I think...
So 2007? 6, 7?
It's 2007, but it's like in the middle of the year. I think it aired the season after Hit a Money Sketch. But
the 2007 is also written up there. Wow, I failed to read either language.
Yeah. But either way, this is the first proper Nichijou-kei anime. Like, it has existed before. I mean, Hit a Money Sketch is still Nichijou-kei, but this is, like, really makes it into its own thing.
It's like the first modern one.
Yes,
it's
the
very
first modern one.
aggressively Nichijou-kei.
It is, and it does it super well because Kyoani has balls.
Yes.
And this was one of Kyoani's first really big ones, wasn't it? Like, the ones that made it big.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean,
I guess this
what
is
did you have
after
before that? You have
Haruhi.
Full Metal Panic, Haruhi was big. I'd say Haruhi was bigger than Lucky Star.
This is,
Yes,
I guess
definitely.
this is Kyoani's first big thing that's not, like, serious. This is their first big comedy, like, relaxing
First big
thing.
one, yeah.
And then they went on to do many other ones.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have, like, Full Metal Panic from her and things like that, but that wasn't that well known. Like, I'd say Lucky Star is still, like, it defined a genre. It sort of defined an era. It's, like, late 2000s anime. This is definitely in the top 5, like, most iconic.
Yeah, like, if you're a young listener, like, this was anime. For
This was the shit.
a number of years. Like if you're an anime fan and you hadn't watched this, it's like, what are you doing? Like, this is a like
This is 2007 Sayekano.
Yes.
I haven't watched
Wait,
Sayekano.
what? Wait, how is this Sayekano? What?
What?
Like, no, in
What's
terms
Sayekano?
of like being like emblematic for like otaku culture.
True, yeah.
They are so different. They're completely different works, but I think culturally they play a similar role.
I mean, Sayekano is surprisingly meta.
Yeah.
So I sort of get where you're coming
Sayekano
from.
is actually pretty meta in the way that it treats its tropes and the characters. And
Like
Lucky Star
they're super upfront about it.
Also extremely meta. Like, they have all the voice actors turn up.
But
they have like
Lucky Star has. Yeah, I mean, like, she literally plays Haruhi, like, she impersonates Haruhi at a cosplay cafe and stuff. She's the same voice actress, by the way. Yes.
Yeah.
This is Hiranaya, but plays Haruhi in 1 year prior, well, like 1 year, less than a year prior. And then Konata, the main girl in this, immediately after the same studio.
It's amazing.
So there's quite a lot of riffs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Lucky Star is definitely the iconic slice of life work. Even now, I don't think anything has really surpassed it yet. It still pulls it off so well. There's still...
But interestingly, like, you say it's the defining slice of life, but is it the defining Iyashi-kei?
Well, that's the thing. Because it's so aggressively slice of life, there's like... I don't know. It's not quite as... Like, the comedic timing stuff is very different to, like, Azumanga Daioh. Like,
It is
they
very
play with the
different.
comedy differently. But at the
The
same time...
comedy wants to be like very offbeat. Like,
Yeah,
it
it's
wants
really
to,
offbeat.
Yeah, it's really, really offbeat. And I think if you were to ask me personally, I think it counts as Iyashi-kei, but it's Cookie-kei first. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's also... The characters aren't made to be that cute in this, so... It's like, it doesn't really... It sells merchandise
What?
like freaking crazy. It's not cute
The
girls doing
characters
cute
aren't meant
things
to
so
be-
much.
This
They're
what?
meant to look
It's-
like...
it's
They're meant to
extremely
look kind
cute girls
of...
doing cute things.
No, but the thing is that Konata is very cute, but she's mainly relatable. People like her as a character, not just because her design's cute. Whereas
This is
cute
true.
girls doing cute things can literally just be hollow things with, pink bobs and whatever the fuck they're doing. It's
I
just
mean,
cute.
we get to Moe Blob and like how like Cookie-kei turns into Moe Blob later on.
Yes.
That's a story for another episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lucky Star sells like crazy, but it's not made to sell like crazy. It's made to be a good work, and it's made to be a good slice of life work. They just
And
so happen
kind of
to
like
turn
a
up Iyashi-kei.
commentary on like otaku culture in general as
Yeah,
well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's basically a window into otaku culture from like the late 2000s. And I feel like a lot of people who hadn't been a part of this culture previously, or even known about it previously, were exposed to it by this.
And they were
Yes.
kind of, it welcomes you with open arms. I felt like Lucky Star. Like, even if you don't get the jokes, you really, like, like pop culture references to otaku stuff that maybe you're not familiar with. Like, it still is very enjoyable regardless, just because it is so offbeat. It's just like, you can't help but enjoy it.
There's nothing like it. Like, even
Oh,
now,
yeah.
there's nothing quite like Lucky Star.
No.
Exactly.
And also, it
It's so well done.
single-handedly put, like, a small town in Saitama on the map. So, like, good job, Lucky Star.
True. In case you're wondering, that's, I think, Cookie.
Cookie there, yeah.
Cookie.
Cookie.
Yeah, and then I think the main shrine that features is Washinomiya Shrine, I think, which was overrun with otaku at the New Year's for like years afterwards, like 2007, 2008, 2009, whatever. It was just overrun with otaku.
Listen, when a shrine is featured in an anime or manga, it gets swarmed immediately after, and for the next 15 or 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, people just going to pray to Konatan stuff.
Love it.
I should go do that.
Yes.
Praise Konata.
Pray to Konata. I'll get some weeb power from her. Amazing.
Either way, before we actually have like a 3-hour conversation on Lucky Star, we should probably move on.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. I forgot there's a rest of a presentation that we.
Lucky Star is
about other
honestly
stuff.
like it's so good.
Oh God, yeah, we could literally just do an episode on Lucky Star. Let us know in the comments if you want to hear us talk about Lucky Star for 2 hours, because we would
We'll just do a
gladly do it.
watch
I
along.
think.
Yeah, and then you would have to force me to watch the whole of Lucky Star, which I have
Yeah,
not actually done.
What?
What?
Oh, Aki, you're so
I've-
baby. Oh, you haven't watched it.
I've not like it's like I get the idea. It's just like couldn't hold my attention for its entire runtime.
I don't know. I've seen it
valid,
probably
yeah.
4 or 5 times, and like the first 4 episodes are actually directed by a different dude. That's why it feels weird, because he's the one who
'cause
did the
they're
dance and
different,
everything.
aren't they?
He got fired because he was a bit of a dick.
Nice.
Immediately after that, the vibe changes and it settles down like into this what it's actually supposed to be like, and that's when it becomes a lot easier to follow. And then even towards the end of the series, it does actually feel like it's approaching the end of the series. Strangely, it doesn't feel like it's just
It has it
like
has
it does
like a
actually
crescendo
sort
at
of
the
have
end.
pacing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it has
does.
like sort of,
Interesting.
yeah, it's like a semblance of pacing. It's so weird, but I would definitely recommend
There's
watching it.
nothing else like this. Yeah, I will agree with that. Yeah,
Either way,
it's like
we should
stuff.
move
Go
on.
watch your kids. Go watch your kids. Oh no, this is another one that I can't contribute to this
Yes.
one, but I'm aware that this is one of Rin's favorite anime of all time, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, like it's so deserving. I mean, this is actually, I think on Wikipedia, I think this is actually listed under genres as Iyashi-kei. Like it's just that's what it does. But sort of, I don't know, almost similar to the older stuff we were talking about earlier. It has many other themes. Like
Doesn't it also
combined
have
with
the
this Iyashi-kei
spooky,
element.
spooky yokai?
Yeah, spooky.
Okay.
Basically, for those not familiar with Natsume Yujinto, basically, it translates Natsume. I should have translated this in English earlier. Natsume's Book of Friends. Yujinto just means like friend book. And this is a story set in Kumamoto, I think on Kyushu, where I am. And it's sort of relative countryside, actually pretty much the sticks. But it's about a, I don't know, 15, 16-year-old something other kid, and he finds a book left by his grandmother who died rather young, and it's got the names of all these spirits in it. And having this book with the names in it gives him the ability to control these spirits, which he doesn't necessarily want to do. But it does mean that all these spirits, having found out that his grandmother's dead and can no longer, basically, you know, the powerful one who conquered them, whatever, is no longer alive, come back to try and take their name back, or to try and control the other spirits. And so he enters a sort of like contract, basically, with that little Maneki Neko, the cat next to him, Nanko Sensei.
Nyanko Sensei. The one with all the merch made of him.
Yes, basically goes about his day-to-day life, making friends and stuff like that, and generally encountering spirits and the sort of good and bad things that happen when they interact with humans.
Yeah, you can like go do your thing. Don't.
Yeah, something is
We can
vibrating somewhere.
That'll be your thing saying.
It's my
Go
vibrator.
have your. No, it'll be your thing saying go have your tablets.
Where is my vibrator?
Another thing that I should clip. Just put it on my soundboard.
Important.
Important. Aki, have you watched any of Natsume Yujincho?
Nope.
Me neither. Like, I've heard it's very good, and like, they just keep making more of it. It's like the first one, the second one, okay, and then it's like the third one's airing. I'm like, oh wow, fourth one's airing. Whoa, 4 series. Fifth one's airing. Like, oh my god, wow, this is really going for it. And then there was a 6th one, which I think is the logo that you got there. I think it's for the 6th one. It's like, what?
Yes. And then there was a
A
movie.
lot. And a movie. 6 seasons and a movie. It's done it, folks.
That's literally the tagline that they go for Community, which is kind of coincidental, but there you go. But the Natsume Juncho did actually have, as you said, 6 seasons and then a movie, which was, I think, was it Musubi something or other. So it's been going from 2008 till I think 2019, 2020, something like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, thematically, it's about when like your kind of interact with humans and have sort of good and bad experiences with them. It's quite often very bittersweet. As often they have to sort of say goodbye. There's not many happy endings, but it has quite a lot of that old sort of what's that vibe that they have?
Hey.
The old sort of impermanence and stuff. The whole Buddhist themes.
Objection.
What?
How can this be Iyashi-kei, Rin Sensei? How can it be Iyashi-kei if it's making me feel bad and bittersweet? How can that be?
Because it's bittersweet. And what happens is by surrounding you in this, again, idyllic landscape, because Komodo is very beautiful, and he's had not a very nice past. He was mistreated, let's say, by his classmates, by his adoptive families, I should say. Like, basically being able to see spirits has not made him a very happy chappy for most of his life. And then basically when he moves here to this school, he's got adoptive parents who are incredibly nice and have quite a lot of screen time in the 5th season. So that's one of my favorites.
Ooh.
Who basically accept him no matter what, even though he's trying to keep the fact that he can see all these spirits a secret. I say spirits, I mean yokai. They're basically monsters. But he meets new friends. All these people there are his friends from school, and they all know that he's hiding something, but they accept him nonetheless. And so while he's working through this stuff with these episodic sort of events with the yokai, which can be either happy or sad, or sort of generally encompass this sort of, this theme of impermanence. You know, these yokai live forever, the humans don't. Sometimes it's their time to go, you know.
Mono no aware?
Yes, it's got a lot of that.
I like
but
that.
The fact is that throughout the series, and this is quite constant actually, it doesn't really lag. It's quite slow paced, but every series he becomes a little closer with his friends and with Nyonko Sensei, and he becomes a little more accepted. And it sort of shows that everything, you know, even though he had a bad past, like things will be okay. And I think that's why it's Iyashi-kei.
Oh, I getcha. So it makes you feel things, but the things are making you feel in a positive direction.
Yes.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah, I like how
that a lot.
Iyashi-kei generally works on that axis of like it often the main character comes from like some kind of like troubled past or some kind of troubled present, and it's like about finding ways through that than like saying, oh yeah, everything is good, nothing bad exists.
Yeah, I really appreciate it when anime is like just real with you in that way. Like, yeah, we know that life isn't great, but we can make it through.
But it'll be okay.
Everything's gonna be daijoubu.
You don't have to get rid of the bad things always. You just have to show them that you can get through it.
Yeah.
I think that's the point of this kind of Iyashi-kei.
Managing, yeah.
And also having a fantastical element is also pretty good. Yes.
Rin, you're not allowed to like make like food noises on the thing and not tell us what you're eating.
I was taking my tablets. I thought you just cut it out for me.
Oh no, I will cut it out in that case. All right. I thought it was food. I got excited. All right.
Yeah, no, I do have Ferrero Rocher around here, but I might just have one.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I'm just gonna skip ahead while you're eating that. Okay, we've still got a lot. Oh dear God. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about.
Okay, well, Natsume Yuzincho is... it fits under Iyashi-kei, but it's more marketed as what do you call it? It's sort
Drama?
of slice of life drama with fantastical elements.
That sounds great. Sign me up. God, I'm getting so much anime to
Get
watch
on
from
board.
this. I will. Summer holidays are coming. I think we all know these girls. Who
Do we?
remembers their names? We got Tsumugi. We got Mio. We got, and then we've got the girl. Yui.
Oh my goodness.
Yui. We got Cat Girl.
Azusa.
Nyanzasa. Azunyan. I got that. Azunyan. And then Ritsu. Guitar. Drum Girl.
Oh my goodness.
I need a nap.
That
I'll
was
leave this
awkward.
one to you two.
K-On!
so
Is K-On! If Lucky Star is the foundation of kind of the cute girls doing cute things, then K-On! Takes that and brings it to the front of everybody, like to the front of billboards everywhere. It has so much cultural impact. K-On! Has this great advantage of also being, it has a music focus, as you can tell. And so they can release stuff like music with the girls singing. They can do lives, and while like anime themed lives have been a thing, and K-On! Is, I think, where a lot of people started to get into that side of the like anime sphere.
Yes.
It was the starter anime to this whole side of the world.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who I know who say, I've not watched much Nichijou-kei, but I've watched K-On!
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This was a bit of an incidental thing, but also quite a lot of the hardcore otaku I know are guys. But there's quite a lot of girls I know who haven't really watched anime, but if they do dabble, if they've seen one or two, they've seen K-On!
It's K-On!
It's the one that draws a lot of them in.
It is.
It used to be. I don't know if that's still the case. I think we may be
I
showing
think it
that
still
age
is
here.
the case.
Oh, okay. It is
I
13
think so.
years old now.
Yeah, but it's timeless.
Now
It's a
everyone
classic
just
now.
watches like Kimetsu no Yaiba, right?
True.
I don't watch anime, but I've watched Kimetsu.
This is true. This is how it be.
I like Kimetsu, but still, like, you can't put on the same level as some of this stuff.
But K-On!, like, can I add, like, something that really, like, cemented this as, like, a foundational Iyashi-kei for me is I listened to an episode of, Dr. K, like, Healthy Gamer GG, and one of the guys who he interviewed, like, he's like a psychiatrist and he interviews people about, like, their mental health and stuff. One of the guys he interviewed was a lovely, sweet guy who had basically, like, latched onto Yui, like, the main character, as kind of like his support waifu. And like, yeah, no, it's like not as a joke, like literally like having like Yui like merchandise around and stuff, like just kind of made him feel like whenever he was like anxious or he felt like he couldn't do stuff, like life was going bad and he had these negative emotions, what he would do is like remember Yui and like just be healed by his experiences watching the show. And I'm like, wow, if a show can do that for someone, like be such a huge crutch for someone, like, he also admitted like it's not healthy and he does need to move on eventually. But for at the time, like imagine having that, like an anime that could basically save you in your darkest moment because it's just so healing. It just saves you. It's like, what? It's wild.
That is sort of nice, but like that has the potential to go in a completely different direction.
Yeah, like I mean, it's better than like becoming an alcoholic. Like I think this was the better option of the two. Like, yes, if you feel a coping mechanism, worshipping Yui from K-On! Is probably a pretty not destructive one.
I'm in a dark time in my life, but at least I have my friend alcohol.
I think Yui guy he had the better idea. But yeah, K-On! Good stuff.
Oh, fair enough. It is very Iyashi.
Yeah.
It is good. The only problem is they never actually played any music in it, or barely did.
That's what the openings and endings are for, and that's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay, yeah, moving
cute
on.
Girls doing cute things. Kukike da ne.
Kukike.
It's a graph. I've learnt, Rin, with yours so far that if there's a graph on it, it's bad. It means bad things.
Graph. Okay.
Graph equals bad.
Okay, I
Graphic is
shall
bad.
reignite my Japanese brain. This is no shinzo what is it? Shinzo shikkan と精神疾患の、労災申請件数と認定件数。
Oh.
Which means basically, this means incidents of, what is it, Shinzo? Basically like heart problems.
No, wait. I'll stop you there. So it says like
Heart, oh no, I mean, yeah, like, I'm trying to like simplify it, but what would you call it? Basically, this is...
So it's like it's problems with like your brain is the like physical problems with your brain, and your heart is the blue line, right? But what's the yellow white line? Like, what's that
The
one?
yellow/white line is basically, what do you call it? Like mental problems in desperate need of help. Like that sort of level is what we're
mental
looking at.
illness is what I would call it.
Mental illness, yeah. You say, is it okay to put it as mildly as that?
Mental illness covers the whole gamut of stuff, so it's probably. I feel comfortable translating it as mental illness. If we're wrong, like yell at us in the comments or tell us which one of us is correct.
Fair enough. The point I was going to make though is that what I was trying to emphasize here is that the whole problems with your brain and your heart and stuff is what they're trying, or what the people who made the graph are trying to emphasize. And this is brought on by work, like work and work stress. Like this is the sort of stuff that leads to like health problems. In this case, your heart, your brain's fucked up. You not feeling mentally at ease. In fact, you're quite physically unwell, mainly because of work. And the point is, this graph starts in 1999, which is when the economy still is not in a good way. It should be sort of healing, or what people would expect by the sort of mid-2000s, but what you can clearly see here is that it's still actually going up. So the problems that caused this boom of Iyashi-kei in the 90s haven't quite gone away.
Yeah, in fact, they seem to be getting worse. Unless, there's also, of course, like we need to acknowledge the thing where like mental health is becoming more like spoken about, and so that could also be part of it. But also, people don't seem to be doing great. Also,
it has times itself by 10 in like 15 years. The mental health issues.
That's a lot. These are the reported ones, like work, right? This is like work claims. Gosh.
So what this means is people they're becoming more vocal about their own problems. If you need help, speak up, kind of thing. That is becoming more widespread by this time, which is a very healthy thing, because a lot of people were just keeping it to themselves earlier. But it does also mean that the problems haven't quite gone away. Like cases are still going up, So if you wouldn't mind, next slide.
Sure. Oh,
this is a bit darker.
This is that word, isn't it? This is the word
this
that,
is
like...
Same time. Yeah.
Oh.
Same time period. This is basically dealing with the weird sort of blue line on the top is actually death by overwork, which is quite a well-known Japanese concept even outside of Japan.
Like, if you say karoshi, like, a whole bunch of people in my family be like, oh, yeah, I read an article about karoshi, and I'm like, yep, it's a known thing.
Yeah. But basically, even though the awareness of, like, black companies, like companies that will force you to work overtime, that will force you to do all your work at home, that will force you to, I don't know, basically treat you like a piece of shit, and you're literally working yourself to death, even though the awareness of these kind of places and the support given to people who realize they're in sort of trouble has increased in the past few years, it still hasn't gone away, which is why the karoshi rates have gone down slightly. I mean, we are hitting a peak the 2000s, but also the, what did you call it? Yeah, karoshi satsu, not a good one. Literally suicide
that
from
going up.
Work. That's going up.
Don't like that.
And I'm afraid if you look at it a few years, the 5 to 10 years after that, so like now it's basically with COVID and stuff. Yeah, with COVID especially, it's not going down. So there is still, what I'm trying to say here is there's still quite a need for Iyashi-kei. I mean, not that Iyashi-kei is a cure-all drug that will stop you from feeling bad, that will stop you from overworking, whatever. But there's
There's
still
still a market
definitely
for
a
it.
market for it because there's
Yeah.
still these
And it's
problems
not
in
going to
society
hurt.
that exactly. It might not save anyone. I mean, it might save some people, but like
It may have saved
there's still
like
a need for
someone,
it.
the people who like the Yui guy. Like it
Yes.
possibly, you know.
But there's still a societal need. It hasn't just passed with the the economic crisis, I should say. So if you wouldn't mind
Yeah, and
next
at
slide,
some point we
because this
should
one's
like.
quite unpleasant.
Oh yeah, let's go to the next one. Let's get out of here.
Dang. There, you were saying?
I guess like at some point we should like. I mean, like none of these graphs have 2020 on them, obviously, but like I guess the fact that COVID. Or do we want to talk about COVID at the end? We can talk about COVID at the end if you want.
Well, I don't know. You can talk about it whenever you want, to be honest. I mean,
Like-
it's not like it's...
Like Rin, I feel like the point that you're making here is like
Big graphs,
Iyashi-kei
lots of numbers.
is here to stay. Like
Iyashi-kei is still here
the
to
need
stay,
for it
is the point.
is only increasing, really. Like because
Yes.
like freaking COVID really has done a number on so many people's mental health and of physical health, and in so many ways, it's just upended society in some horrible ways for people. And having Iyashi-kei as an option there, like when you're struggling, you just need something to relax to and just
Yes.
forget about your problems for just 25 minutes plus ad break if you're in Japan watching it on TV, you know, like it's just, you know, it's, I really
Yes.
get that.
I mean, to be honest, like, I generally watch... I'm quite selective about the anime I watch. I don't watch a lot of, like, stuff that I admit is shit. Except, like, I think it was last year or whatever. I was not having a good time with, uni. Like, wasn't always good.
Yeah, it's full on.
And, like, COVID situation really, like, fucked everyone over a bit.
Oh
But,
yeah.
like, there was, like, this pretty terrible anime with, I think, Fukushima in it, called, like, Isekai Drugstore. Like, Drugstore in Another World or something.
Yes,
That one. Which is kind of meta and a bit, but it was just extremely low budget. But it was so just like, dude gets reincarnated into a drugstore in another world, literally just solves people's trivial problems by whipping up like wonder drugs and just meeting
Yeah.
interesting people and watching a fox girl like just run around because why not? And it's like, I honestly look forward to it every week just because it is actually healing.
Aww.
Like, so I sort of get where this stuff's coming from.
Yeah.
Kind of like junk foodie a little bit.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
a bit of a
it's-
guilty pleasure, but it does help. And this won't clog up your arteries.
Yeah, it won't look. Yeah. Like, Aki, do you have an equivalent, like to that? Like, when things get rough, like, do you turn to Iyashi-kei?
No, I am the kind of person who thrives by immersing myself in adversity.
Oh, you're the
So-
opposite. You go hard on the negative.
Yeah, so I have a tough time in my day, and I go home and I play ranked Apex Legends.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah,
And
yeah, that's adversity.
yeah, and I've taken up climbing as well. And for me, like those adversity, and like people have written essays about this. I think like a few of my favorite video game essayists have started talking about how they personally also feel this, but it's like having that controlled space within you can feel adversity gives you the ability to feel like you can overcome it.
Yeah, I totally get that. Like, people have so many different ways of responding to stress, and the like you go and you just like push yourself to the limit, and that kind of does it for you. Like, I know lots of people like that, and I'm like that sometimes, and I don't know, it's really interesting how everyone responds so differently. I think I like both. I like both.
Good on you.
I like to go like I used to like go to the gym and like lift a whole bunch of weights, and then I just come home and I just like collapse in front of like some of the anime that we're going to talk about in a bit, I think, actually.
Yes.
But yeah, Rin, we've got a graph here. Do you want to tell us what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Before my
I'll just
brain melts
pop
because
over
of
this quickly.
too much graphitis.
Okay, this is basically like stress levels. ストレスを感じる労働者の割合 is basically the
Oh.
percentage of workers, 労働者 specifically, yeah, like it's just workers who are feeling stressed, and that's the percentage. So you're getting well over half of people are feeling a bit stressy.
constantly. Like, it's never been less than 50%.
Yes, and it generally takes quite a bit to get these kind of statements out of workers in Japan. They're generally a pretty tough bunch.
Yeah,
So-
it's like, don't talk about it, but no, they're all like, oh yeah, no, I'm feeling it,
Yes. And then at this point where we've stopped this nice little parade of, fluffy anime, which is around, 2010-ish, you've actually got, if you have a look at the graph on the right, this is...
Oh, this is suicide again. No, it's so sad.
Is this suicide?
Yeah.
So some of it is, yeah. Okay,
So,
if you look at
the blue part is suicide.
the suicide's down the bottom, yes.
The pink reddish part is like mental illness and stuff.
But the mental illness cases, have you seen, have actually started going up quite violently as of like the early 2010s, which is why I've stopped it here. You can see that there is actually a second sort of boom coming into the the late, was it like, I guess the start of Iyashi-kei, like merging with like slice of life and stuff like that. It sort of has started happening in the late 2000s, but in the early 2010s it starts becoming a very marketable thing, and it's sort of stripped down into this Iyashi-kei, as we'll see in a bit. So if you wouldn't mind, next slide.
Yeah, sure. Oh no, another graph. Will I
it's
survive?
another graph.
I think I need some Iyashi-kei to
basically the
deal
same
with
thing.
this graph. Oh,
This is
okay.
basically just saying that the number one cause of stress for people overwhelmingly is work.
Yeah.
Work sucks.
Yes, work is not good. Basically, there's, the number one demographic to market Iyashi-kei at is tired work people.
And the good thing
Because
about
they're fed
marketing at adults as opposed to kids is adults sometimes have lots of money and they will buy your
Big
merch.
money.
And they'll buy your expensive
FQ.
Blu-rays.
Yes. Okay, next
People be
please.
stressed. All right, yeah.
Big
People be
stress.
stressed, and so this is interesting with what Aki was saying, because in this Iyashi-kei anime, which is one of my like all-time favorites, these girls, they actually confront adversity by climbing a mountain, but in like a really chill way. Encouragement of climb. I think is it a riff off like the like problematic thing that Fukuzawa Yukichi wrote, like about like Datsuron. Anyway, I'm not nope, we don't have time
I
for
honestly
that.
have no idea.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, Yamano Susume is a really cute, like, it started as like really short episodes. It's just about this girl and like her childhood friend who she like reunites with. So the main character is on the left. So she's Aoi, and then on the right, like with the striped pink shirt, that's Hinata. And I ship them. Just a little. They're very, very sweet. And like the joke is made that they're like an old married couple. It's like, yeah, nah, that's what they're like. And so they just like, Hinata's like, hey, Aoi, let's go climb mountains. And Aoi's like, no, that's stupid. And then Hinata's like, no, just try it. And then Hinata's like, Aoi's like, fine. And so they just go on all these adventures. And they go, and they also do like the normal camping stuff. Like this feels like a very much precursor to Yurukyan, which is going to come up later. Yeah. So it's like you got nature, you've got like high school girls doing fun things, which is like I don't know, for some reason like high school girls
Doing
seem
things
relatable
that-
to everyone.
And like
But
specifically doing things that tend to be a little bit male coded in some sense.
yeah, I feel like mountain climbing, outdoorsy stuff, and like the girl at the back with who's standing up with the blue coat, like she's like serious mountaineering kind of girl, and the rest of them just kind of do it for fun. But like it's really nice how they're like, because for me, like growing up, like you know, assigned female at birth, like growing up as a girl, and then watching this when probably in 2013 or 2014 actually, and like I was like, oh, maybe like there's a place for me in this hobby, like of climbing mountains. And so this is what actually got me into like mountain climbing as a hobby. And I've loved it ever since. And it's kind of like, it welcomed me with open arms into this like physical hobby that I like hated as a kid. Cause I was like, like I'm the youngest in my family. I had the shortest legs. I had the worst time when I was doing bushwalking. But like, yeah, no, it's like, yeah, it was really, really, really refreshing. And it's, yeah, it's given me a lot. #thank you anime.
Well, that's very wholesome.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, yeah. Good anime. And they also do like camping. They do like barbecues. They like Aoi gets like a part-time job. It's just adorable. 100 out of 10.
If
Yeah.
I would be allowed to make a small input here,
Yeah. Oh,
The-
no, this is my series. Get off my
This is-
mountain.
well, I've seen like
Go for
one
it, Ben.
episode from season 3 of Yamano Susume for some reason, but like that's it. I
yeah.
haven't seen the rest of it.
That's fine. You
But-
can start wherever.
It's also, this idea we've been talking about of making your large problems in the real world quite small once you go into the anime world. You're physically making the only thing that stands in their way of like fluffy good times is literally a mountain. Like it's just that's their sort of, you don't need a bad guy because they're literally just getting through this with some moderate sort of hard work while having good times along the way with like quite wholesome
That's it,
companionship.
Mhm.
Like you're sort of, you're changing this sort of real world, quite heavy stress into a very simple problem that's very simple to overcome.
And I
feel
like that you mentioned like the companionship as well, because like I remember the Mount Fuji episode, which spoilers for this Iyashi-kei slice of life anime, but
Did they
Aoi
climb
doesn't. Aoi doesn't make it up Mount Fuji. She attempts and she gets altitude sickness, and it's quite like dramatic but then, and so like, then she ends up with this trauma from like having tried to climb Mount Fuji and then she didn't make it. And then she didn't want to climb mountains for a while, if I remember correctly. And so it's like, it goes into that thing again of like having this trauma and working through it with like the people around you who are supportive and they love you. And like, they slowly like help her get back into climbing mountains after that again. And it's just, I don't know, it just hits all the beats. It's just really real good. Yeah.
See, overcoming your
Companionship.
trauma, that's a
Yeah.
good entry.
It's good. Get some good friends. Go climb a mountain. Not if
Yes,
you're
let's
in
go watch
Singapore,
this
I
later.
guess. You don't have any mountains, do you?
No.
Do you, Aki?
No mountains in Singapore.
That's
Climb
tragic.
skyscrapers.
Go climb a skyscraper. Yeah.
Ah, yes, definitely.
No gear, that's cheating.
Yeah.
Go abseil. Like go rappelling off a skyscraper.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is probably a good point to move to the next series.
Yeah. Sorry. Otherwise, I'll talk about it forever. I haven't
No,
watched
mostly
this
'cause
one.
Okay, this is one I have seen. Aki, have you seen this?
I've seen clips.
All I know about it is the like sandstorm, like ba-da-ba-da-ba, but it's her playing it. That's all I've
The
seen.
what?
What? You haven't seen the
That's an edit.
video? It's an edit. And it's like her playing the recorder to the tune of Sandstorm. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have not seen that.
Anyway,
I mean-
it's not important. Move on.
Okay. Basically, Nonon Biori is originally cute girls doing cute things. It's Kuki-kei. But, like, I don't know, it's so much more than that. This is quite famously a healing series because mostly of the environment in which it's in. Like, this is set in the absolute middle of nowhere. I don't remember what prefecture it's based on, but it's
I
like
got you,
quite
fam.
a
I'll
long
look it
way
up.
out.
It like looks like Gifu to me. Like whenever I see mountains like that, I'm just like, oh, it's Gifu. It's Gifu.
Good for
But let's find out.
Come on. What is it?
Hey, wait, are you literally waiting for me?
What
I
is
can't
it?
type
Look it
under
up.
pressure.
Come on. Come on.
Asahigaoka is the fictional village, which is set in Nononbiori. The location is not specified. It's just indicated that it is far enough from Tokyo to require an aeroplane flight or several hours on the Shinkansen. The village as a whole does not exist in real life.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay, so-
that's not helpful. I'm going to say
Yeah.
Gifu, and no one's going to be able to prove me wrong.
Several hours in the Shinkansen does not lead. Oh, does it lead to Gifu? Oh, yeah, it does go a bit
No.
through Gifu, doesn't it?
Not
Doesn't it?
really. Maybe, I
Oh,
don't
shit,
know.
does it
goes
go
through
through-
Aichi. It goes through Aichi.
Yeah, it goes through Aichi shit. Yeah, you have to change to get to Gifu, don't you?
Yeah.
Damn.
Regardless, Non-Biori, like, even I knew about it because, like, it was all over Reddit and stuff, like, for years after it finished airing.
It is a pretty famous series, but basically the main plot is that the girl with the black hair in the middle, Hotaru, basically moves from the city with her relatively, I don't know, well-to-do. She's not really a Ojo-san or anything, she just comes from a relatively normal suburban/city family, and she ends up moving to the absolute sticks for her parents' work.
Oh, so Higurashi. Gotcha.
No.
Continue.
No.
Definitely.
No, she has that movie here, and the other three girls basically have been residents here their entire lives. Like the girls on either end are sisters, and the one in the middle is the daughter of, I think, the local school teacher. But there's not many people in this village. It's just completely super picturesque, super idyllic. There's I don't know, super inaka vibes, but in the most wholesome way possible. So there's the only students at the school, they're all in different grades, are these four, and I think their older brother, the two sisters' older brother. And that's
so Higurashi.
And then, no, there's no murder yet.
I'm just hearing Higurashi's setting so far, but continue.
Yes, but it's I don't know, it's just cute girls doing cute things. They just play games with their daily life. They go to the dagashi store, which is cheap sort of lollies, cheap candy, and they go and play with sort of animals and bugs and stuff like that. It's just idyllic daily life when you're pre-teenagers.
Yeah, when do they get out the baseball bats?
Not in this series, because it's not
Meat
Higurashi.
cleavers?
No.
Denailing scenes?
No.
Oh,
Bolts?
okay. Sorry. I think I've clicked on the wrong page. It's fine.
Very possibly.
Actually, this is probably the better anime to be watching. Really, this sounds
is
like the
better anime to
wholesome
be
version of if you want to have the setting, but you want to have not murder and trauma. I think I need to watch this to recover from Higurashi. Which don't watch, by the way. I'm not plugging Higurashi. I watched it when I was 15. Don't watch it. Watch this instead.
This is pretty wholesome. I'm pretty sure the first scene in the entire show is just Nenge, Denchon, who's the little girl with the pigtails, just playing her recorder super terribly throughout the countryside. But it's just
I love
it gives
it.
you
Aww.
it gives you a full 2 minutes or whatever just of just scenery and stuff. It's I honestly wanted to move to Japanese inaka after watching this.
Aww.
It's so nice. It is cute girls doing cute things, but it's super Iyashi-kei in terms of the final product. So yeah, would recommend.
Fantastic.
Also, there's 3 seasons in a movie now. Is there? There was a third season, wasn't there?
Yeah, I heard of there being a movie. Yeah.
Vacation, I think it's called. Either way, go watch that. Very good. Next, please.
Will do. Oh my god.
Yes, you can talk about this one.
Oh, all right. It's time to take you all on a dramatic market ride to Kyoto. This is Kyoto, the city where Kyoto Animation's from. Surprise, surprise. And this is set in a little town called Yanagimachi, I believe. It's just northwest of Kyoto University, I believe.
Demachi Yanagi.
Oh, Demachi Yanagi, thank you. That was a good thing. No one heard me say Yanagi Machi Yanagi, whatever I said. So it's oh no, I haven't thought about what I'm going to say at all. It's just a good time. So
Do you want to
Tamako
describe what
Market was
happens?
the first slice of life I watched.
really,
Ooh.
how'd you find it, Aki?
I mean, I really enjoyed Tamako Market. I think I went on my phase of watching a bunch of slice of life because of Tamako Market.
Wow.
That's the thing. I've heard so many reviews of people who were so disappointed by the lack of characterization and the events happening. It's you've completely missed the point. Did you feel any of that?
I felt there was a lot that they didn't let come to the surface. There was a lot of just subtle overtones of character, and more stuff comes out in the movie. And the movie is when I think the movie is really good.
The movie's fantastic.
I'm actually the opposite. I actually prefer the series way more than the movie.
Oh, that's too bad.
Cause I don't know, maybe it's just cause I don't ship, Tamako and Mochizuki. Mochi
yeah.
boy. Hi, this is Zen in post-production. I am so sorry to the boy from Tamako Market because we failed to remember his name. He's not Mochizuki. His name is Mochizo. He deserves better. Yeah, please ignore us as we call him Mochizuki for ages. Anyway, back to the pod. Mochi boy. I don't ship them really. But I feel like the anime, it does feel a little bit shallow, but in kind of a comforting way. As you watch it, you get to know this girl and the this shopping mall that she wait, is this? Oh, I forgot the
shopping
name of the
street.
shop. Yeah, Shotengai. Sorry,
What?
Shotengai.
Sorting
This girl and like, so her family like runs a shop on the Shotengai, and like all of the nice people that she just sees every day on the way to school, her classmates who she wanders through with, and then you also get to see this Shotengai through the eyes of an outsider, which is the bird on her head, and also like this girl from an unnamed presumably Pacific or Indian Ocean country, and yeah, it's just they just do it very well. It's KyoAni, so it's beautifully animated. Music is impeccable.
Yes.
Character animation is impeccable. Backgrounds are impeccable. I love like the trans woman coded character who sells the flowers, voiced by some really famous voice actor who I forget his name. Wait, is it literally Onodi?
I think it's Onodi.
I think it's Onodi. Yeah, I was just like,
I do actually remember that character.
It is on a D.
I freaking love him. Yeah. So I don't know. It's
I really like her dad.
Full of lots of
Like one of the best characters in the show, by the late Fujiwara Keiji. The one who, like, he talks, he's the one who, like, runs the shop, basically. Her grandfather is, like, I think the oldest guy in the shop, obviously. He's, like, the sort of senior there. But her dad's the one that does all the work, and he's very gruff and everything, and he's got, like, a crew cut. And, there's, like, quite a few flashbacks of him, like, wooing her mum and stuff before her mum died. Yes.
Oh, yeah, with the mum, yeah.
It's such a good, like, the dad's arc is so good. I wouldn't call it an arc, but like his characterization is so good. And I mean, like Fujiwara Keiji is like impeccable in this.
And her trying to connect with like the memory of the mum that she didn't really get to know, and like the music, the whole like the record show. Oh, it's so good.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, just go watch it, people.
Depth. It's just that they don't explore it fully. They just hint at it.
Yeah, it's like if you want to have it left to your imagination, this is the show for you. It just, yeah, it's
got vibes.
It's got vibes. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Many vibes.
Like Tamako Love Story is a lot more explicit with its themes.
Yes.
So if that was what you felt was lacking from the anime, then you would really like the movie.
I did really enjoy the movie. I mean, I like the sort of nothing happening vibe of the show is very nice, and the fact that they've got is it Deda? What's the bird called?
Yeah,
the bird.
Deda. He's like as like the sort of outsider there as the observer to like, you know, fuel the comedy and stuff like that. Basically disappears like very shortly into the movie, and then it sort of focuses on the characterization of, you know, Tamako and Mochizuki, whatever his name is. Like, it obviously is going to become a little more serious, but it's so well done. And like KyoAni is really just showing off with like what they can do in that film.
They really were, yeah.
Side note, another thing that makes this a Iyashi-kei for me is the food looks amazing. There's so much mochi in this. Omochi, daifuku, oishisou.
Now I'm hungry. I'm really hungry
me too.
now. Suddenly.
I'm so sorry. I've made
Talking
you
about
and all
Iyashi-kei
listeners
just
hungry
makes
for
me
mochi. Understandable, really.
Go watch the Studio Ghibli food.
Oh.
Actually, I do the thing where when I get hungry, I deliberately start watching cooking videos.
Oh no.
Oh, Aki, is that another adversity thing?
I know, it's somehow
deliberately making yourself suffering.
It's like some level of zen. It's like, food, it exists. Look at the beautiful forms of food can take.
Wow.
I've been craving okonomiyaki for a while now.
I want to go. When I see you next, we should go to okonomiyaki. Also,
yes, there's actually a highly rated store near where I am.
Ooh, iko. I was also thinking this video needs 2 content warnings. The first one is for mental health and suicide. The second one is for food. I'm so hungry. Let's continue. We good?
Yeah, I'm actually really hungry now. But let's push through it.
All right. Now
Okay.
we cannot start this one until we
possibly one of my favorite series of all time.
Coffee. Green tea. どうしてそこだけいい発音なのよ。Coffee. Green tea.
I think Gochumon's a great way to start talking about Moe Blob, but let's start by like talking about what Gochumon is first. If you would do if you were to so kindly help us out, Rin.
What's a Gochumon? And what's an Usagi, and why does the girl have a gun? Rin, help us out.
It says, I mean, there's literally translation. Kotsuma or Usagi desu ka means literally is the order of rabbit. And this is about a girl called Kokoa. They're all named after hot drinks. Like, unsurprisingly.
Hot chocolate!
Kokoa,
Hot chocolate
who
chan!
basically moves to, they call it a half-timber town. It's actually based on a town in, I think, what used to be Alsace in France. Like, it's somewhere near the German border where it's super idyllic and there's, very bridges and canals and, these amazing sort of Tudor-style houses and stuff.
Oh.
And so it's like everyone speaks Japanese, everyone acts like sort of Japanese students, but the entire town is outfitted like a European town. It's a very interesting mix of, I don't know, genres, backgrounds. What would you call it? I don't know.
Cultural influences.
Yes, it's very cool. And then, Kokoa ends up joining the sort of crew at this cafe, who she's, incidentally, I think she's their cousin, maybe. She's relatives of the girl with the white hair, silver hair in the corner, and ends up, joining their cafe as basically a waitress. And what else is there? There's the girl in the top right, is their senpai, who's a military geek, and actually an ojo-sama, as it turns out. And
I love an Ajor-sama with, like, whatever type of gun that is.
she's not really, she's super rich, but she doesn't care about it. She just cares about, like, doing military stuff, like making coffee. She's very cool. Is it? And you have Shadow, who's in the top left, and she's basically acts like an Ojo-sama, goes to the same Ojo-sama school as Lize, but is actually poor, which is actually quite funny. I mean, it's not funny that she's poor, but, like, the episodes, again, it's soothing because whatever problems they have in the show are immediately ironed out through the power of just friendship and healing.
And being
so.
Aww.
Yeah, we'll get back to that in a bit, but you have Chio as well in the bottom right, who's just like a complete airhead who works at a, what do you call
She's
it?
one
Like
of my favorite characters in the show.
She's so cool.
She
works at a kisaten and like deals with old, like Japanese style sweets and matcha and stuff.
I want her job.
Yes, it's very cool. And then also, incidentally, the girl on top of, the girl with the bluish sort of whitish hair, Chino, named after Cappuccino. On top of her head is a rabbit that's actually supposed to be an Angora rabbit, I think. And it's actually
I'm gonna call you on that one. That is not a rabbit. I know what rabbits look like, and that's not one of them.
It's a rabbit.
It's
not a rabbit. It's not.
It's a rabbit.
It's not.
But it's actually got a very interesting and almost, like, I don't know what you call it. It's surprisingly emotional side arc of her grandfather, who was the master, the sort of head of the cafe, passed away and actually became that rabbit. Like, literally, his soul entered the body of the rabbit, and he basically still acts as Jino's
grandfather.
Yeah, like, acts as a grandfather. He sort of guides her a bit and stuff, which is sort of weird because you know that, like, she hasn't fully, like, given up on him yet. Like, it's actually quite a sad little, like, mini arc on the side there, surrounded by just loads of fluff from all these, super cute characters doing super cute things. Do you all have any opinions on this?
Like, it's introduced as a very whimsical kind of like, oh, there's like a rabbit, and he's actually an Oji-san, and
yeah, it's kind of like
continues the trend. Like, if we talk about like Nichijou-kei trends, then like if we look at Tamako Market, and like drawing a direct line to Tamako Market is the random supernatural character that's just there because why not, right?
Yes,
it adds flavor.
Yeah, that's flavor, and then. With Rize, you have again the girl whose interests are very traditionally male coded, being to military stuff and the guns, and the through line brings us through to Gojimon being 2014 is when we start to get. I don't want to say devolve, but like the slice of life genre start to devolve into what some people would call moe blob.
Yeah, it has sort of deconstructed a bit.
And that like has very negative connotations, doesn't it, Moe Blob?
Although I should point out though that this is actually, the manga actually came out in I think 2011, so it is actually pre-Tamako Market in terms of the idea and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Tamako Market is not the first slice of life to have like random sentient characters, I think. Yeah, this is one of the more famous ones.
You're saying about Moe Blob being, a scum of society?
Yeah, well, Moe Blob, because Gochumon is so pop. I don't think we can attribute it
What's
entirely to
Moe Blob?
Gochumon. Moe Blob is like, if you look at the art style and like this is like the iconic art style of anime in 2014 is like this specific type of shading, this specific kind of character design, and it's
the
around
eyes, the
like
faces.
2013. The eyes, the
Although-
faces, the hairstyles.
Mhm.
Like it's around 2013, 2014 when we see it really all coalesce around this kind of drawing and this kind of art style. And all of the animes, even animes that don't particularly have any reason to be a cute girls doing cute things style anime,
They look like
they
this.
all start to feel. Yeah, they all start looking like this, and that is
That
what
is-
Moe
yeah.
Blob is. And it's just
so
an
it's not really to do with
incomprehensible.
Iyashi-kei. It's more like to do with like a design trend where like all the girls kind of look the same in like a
They all look, it's an
generic
art
kind
style
of way.
trend. Yeah,
Although I dare say that with Gotsusa, as it's also known, the manga is impeccably drawn. Like the
Mhm.
coloring and everything is like it's better than the anime in terms of art. So like
Oh,
it's one, if you're
wow.
going to pick on one, it's actually really not a great example because it's quite outstanding
Yeah,
in its
yeah.
field. Like it does a really good job of what it does. And there's quite a few other very shit anime and manga that were sort of coming out at the same time that really do not do as good a job at holding up the genre. And do, I think, devolve it quite fast compared to this.
Ah, valid.
But definitely read the manga.
It heals you. It heals you.
Very
it's
healing.
very healing.
I'm glad
so
to hear
good.
it.
I feel like I've seen this probably 9 times. Like, I haven't made it all the way through the series every time, but like it's such a when you feel like watching it, you feel like watching it.
What's interesting is I don't have like any like cis female friends who are into this series, and I wonder if that's just like what happened there, because this feels like it's a big missed market. Like why are the girls not into this?
Cute Girls Doing Cute Things is mainly made for a male audience.
It's so weird.
It's
It's not
targeted
made
at
for
men.
it, but it sells.
Yeah, what?
Like,
I don't-
Gotsusa is
I-
written by a female author, as far as I know. So it's like she's just drawing whatever she wants to draw. It's just the people who show up to the events and buy all the merchandise are guys.
I mean, though Gochumon is the exception
Yeah, true.
in that. Gochumon is the exception in the case. And a lot of times, like, in a weird cute girls doing cute things is written by men.
Yes. I feel like it's probably
yeah.
just like, it's people. Is it jealousy? I don't know. Maybe it's just because guys will never get the chance to experience any of this stuff, so they feel just sort of this immense sense of, like, yes.
Oh, I get
Just-
that. I totally get that, actually. Yeah. Because you're locked out of this experience. Like, you may not be a teenager anymore. You may have passed this part of your life where you can just like do like young person things, and also like the gendered experience. Like, you don't get to go around like wearing cute frilly outfits, like which. I was watching like a video on like not VTubers. I was watching a video on like what's it called? VR chat, and how like lots of guys go on there and like they play with the cute girl avatars, and they're like, why do you play with a girl avatar? Because like you don't identify as a girl, like you're a guy, like why would you do that? And they're like, oh, sometimes you just gotta feel cute. And I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
I
continue
sort
on.
of get that. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm definitely nowhere near sort of trans or anything. I don't want to be a girl. I'm not jealous of it. But at the same time, like, there's a vibe in this. It's sort of like being left out of a conversation or a club. Like, you
Of a
sort of you
sphere,
watch this
of
and
a
you're like,
cultural...
you're like,
a
this
gendered
feels so
sphere.
cozy. I want to be a part of this, even if only as a spectator.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, we get the
Uh,
reverse of this.
We do. I was just gonna say, like, freaking free.
Yeah,
is
we're
absolutely
free.
the.
Do you feel that?
like all the
Reverse of
girls?
this, yes.
The girls
Yeah.
just want to be part of like the cute guy club where they're just doing a sport, and like,
Yeah.
oh, what's the other one? Haikyuu. Like, it's like
Yeah.
you just
Really?
want to be part
Yeah.
of this
Is that a
thing that
thing?
you don't get to experience. Yeah,
It is
I
a thing.
get that
It is
now,
a
actually.
thing. And the way that the friendships and the character dynamics are presented in Free and Haiku and stuff like that is in a very stereotypically, a very aggressively like teenage boy kind of sense, which is an experience that, well, cis female people generally tend to not have.
But like in like kind of a tender kind of like, I'd say like a lot of it has like the girl lens on, like.
Oh yeah, I mean,
sort of
Super
does.
has the girl lens on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, thank you. I like my soft boys very much. Thank you.
Honestly, like,
Yes, they're
reading,
very
like,
soft boys.
like, I read a lot of fantasy series in English, yeah, and like reading the ones that are reading guy characters written by women is so, I don't know, they're always written better than the alternative, which is kind of funny. Not always,
It's
but like
really
quite
funny.
often. But
It's like
hold
power
on.
fantasy versus like emotional fantasy kind of.
The
Maybe?
joke
Yes.
is that like like only women write men with feelings.
Exactly. It's like a lot of guys don't have feelings with this. Like I was just like, most people I know who are in this situation
Like
just feel like, oh, whatever.
the female fantasy is male people who actually have feelings.
Yes, you have
Oh.
feelings and express them. They express them
Yeah.
implicitly and in beautiful
Yes.
prose.
Explicitly too.
It's like, oh, just go
Yeah,
and
that
read the Throne
I
Glass
really-
series.
Oh
Go
yeah,
read
I'll
it.
get that done eventually. Rin's been recommending me that for ages. I promise I will eventually read it.
That's
They're
so
like-
good.
I know it's like a nice detour. That was a very healing detour, I have to say. It's like, you know, just getting some empathy. I'm understanding
Mhm.
these AMAB people who are watching these cute girls, because I
The
always
what?
had trouble understanding
The what
that, but
people?
now I think I kind of get it.
Party people, what?
Oh, AMAB people, assigned male at birth.
What's-
Sorry,
Oh, is that what it is? A mab.
a mab, a fab.
It just reminds me of Moab.
Perfect. Gotsusa, I feel like I should go watch it.
It's just like, yeah, it's just vibes. Like, I mean,
Just
you've
like
got
put it on and like have lunch and
Yeah,
Ah,
it's also really funny.
I do like funny.
It does it. It's slice of life comedy, like Iyashi-kei kind of thing, but it's like the comedy's done well. The slice of life is done well. Like it's paced well enough. There's genuine sort of character development every now and then, which is quite cool. Like overall, it is quite an exception to the genre it sort of represents.
I love when like the poster child for the genre like doesn't actually do the genre things in the typical genre ways, but it's so common.
There's a reason
It
it's
is
got
very
like 3
common.
series.
shall we
Although,
move on?
Yes,
Shall we? All right.
sure, why not?
Oh yeah,
Boy.
boy. Oh yeah. Here we have another series where a male character has feelings, which is very nice. I like it very much. And
So
this
do
one
I.
is like amongst my like female anime friends. Like this one is very popular.
It is very good.
It's got sorry, I've just kind of stolen this from you, Rin. Can I like run with this for a second?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like
Alright,
yeah.
I've stolen this entire anime from Rin.
Wait, have
Even
you
though
seen it?
it is, have I seen it?
I
have
thought
I
this is one of the ones you
seen
didn't
it?
make it all the way through or something.
No, I've seen all of Barakamon. I haven't seen Handa-kun.
Hanakun isn't that good though, so
Yeah, no, it isn't good. But I have a friend who likes it. But like, it wasn't for me. I like the island. The islands are what really sells this for me. So Barakamon,
Gotoreto.
yes. So it's set in the Goto Islands, and it is basically like you got this beautiful atmosphere, kind of like Nononbiori. But you've also got this really, really like funky cast of characters, like these islanders, and they all have this accent, which is like really endearing. And they've got like these local customs. They've got like all these local places, like, oh yeah, this is where we all go swimming. Oh yeah, this is like the new boat that we're like gonna like. Yeah, we're gonna like bless this boat with your calligraphy. And, like, and, it's just constantly funny. Although bad news on rewatch, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first time. So I don't know. Maybe I've like moved on as a person, but my experience of watching it first time was just really, really good. So it may or may not be your cup of tea, but like I enjoyed it the first time. But also I love calligraphy, so that helps. The main character is a calligrapher.
Yes.
Who has lots
I
of
have to admit, I
feelings.
watched a few episodes and I really didn't like it.
I can understand that.
like not because I think it's bad, but just because it's just not what I don't vibe with it at all.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah,
but
understandable.
Aki, you're not a countryside person.
Yeah.
That is very true.
I mean,
Aki
this
is
is
very
like,
much a city person.
if you don't mind me trying to like explain the draw of this series.
Please.
First of all, like the Gotoretto is like off the coast of I think Nagasaki. Like it's a bit further away, but it's sort of like it's down that a ways. But so it's like it's quite southern, it's subtropical. And not very big cities kind of thing. The main reason he's sent there is he's from Tokyo, like he's an up and coming calligrapher who comes from a calligrapher sort of family. Like which is
like
a big
winning
deal in
awards
art
and
world here.
stuff.
Yes, he's very, very good. But he snaps one day, he punches a critic, I think, who says his work is uninspired. And he ends up being basically exiled by his dad, who's still quite influential, to the Goto Islands. Where
He's like, don't show your face here until you like have calmed down in this idyllic scenery.
Exactly. Basically, cool your head, use the nice scenery
vacation.
to try and basically make a comeback, like get some inspiration, have a bit of a rethink about what you're doing with your life. And he ends up befriending this girl, I think Naru.
Yes, Naru.
And
what
she sort of
legend.
teaches him. Yes, she's like 7, and he's I think 23. Like it doesn't go weird like Usagi Drop, but it's like
bad series.
but
Yeah,
it's like she sort of teaches him how to unwind a bit. Like he basically realizes that most of his problems and like the stuff he was stressing all about isn't that big of a deal. Like he sort of learns how to live a bit. I don't know what you call it. Like it's
life lessons
sort of reminds
from
him,
a 7-year-old.
Yes. Basically, by moving to this place where there's pretty much no internet, like it's not super hygienic, like it's in the middle of nowhere. There's one flight a day, I think, in and out or something. It's like he's forced to live a bit simpler and appreciate the little things in life, you know.
And the connections with people is a big thing.
Yes.
Of it. It's like instead of just focusing on yourself, like look at your community and look at the big picture.
And that's why, and it shows itself through his work as well. Like at the start, he was just basically doing, as the critic put it, like textbook stuff. Like it has no inspiration at all. And then by the end,
he's drawing stuff. Basically.
Exactly. He's drawing stuff that's like, it's not critically good, but it's what he's happy with because it's the stuff he's made sort of while thinking of his friends and stuff. It's quite wholesome in that regard. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Good series.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to piss on it, Taki?
Yeah, no, I don't think. I just vibe like being exiled to the countryside is my worst nightmare. So.
So this is the opposite of Iyashi for Aki. This is an overcoming adversity anime for Aki.
It really is. It's like, oh no, I relate too much to like it's like I would really really hate being stuck up. It just drive me crazy.
Like, I'm not a super countryside person, but I want to go live in the Goto Islands now. Like, after watching
I would
this,
gladly live in this place. Like, as long as like the like small town politics doesn't destroy me. Like, other than that, like, sign me up.
I think I watched like
half
half of it. I watched like 6 episodes.
Huh.
But it's like still, I just couldn't. I just like the whole time I was just like, my.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Valid.
I think that's a personal problem.
I think in this case it may be, but it's just, I mean, not meshing with the vibe of something can't really be helped. I mean, like, this is a lot of viewers' idea of a sort of paradisical sort of getaway from, you know, daily stressful life, and perhaps it might not be your ideal getaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, you're not the target audience for this, Aki, and you realize that, and I think that makes it easier. Because
you're not stressed enough. Go do some hard work and stress properly.
Barakamon healing unless you are a city person, in which case it is your worst nightmare.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Next one?
Okay, what's next?
Next slide. What this is a Sha-na-na-na. This is an absolute
this is still my
masterpiece.
favorite slice of life ever made.
It is
Absolutely.
really good.
Yeah.
It has like the perfect balance of theme, character, chill, and comedy. It has the sentient animal
Cat.
character.
Multiple cats. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
multiple cats. It has magic. It
Has a
has
dog
the countryside
girl.
vibe in a way that I can deal with.
Because
Well,
like they actually
I
have
think-
shops and like civilization things.
Yeah.
That yeah.
Well, as you might know, this is set in Hirosaki, in Aomori.
Yes.
Oh, I want to go. And you've actually
Which
been, Rin.
is-
What was it like?
It was a fantastic city. I did get snowed in. Like, there was literally just like an enormous Setsugai, like, blizzard.
Like you literally couldn't get a train out. You were just stuck there for a while.
Oh yeah, no, they were like bulldozing the snow off the track as it was falling, and it took like at least 2 days to even get one train out, and it was stopping for like an hour on like a 20-minute track or something.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
It was pretty extreme.
It left a positive impact, like positive impression on you, regardless of the fact, like despite you getting like snowed in. That's pretty like high
Yeah.
praise of a place.
I still really
Wow.
like. I
Hirosaki
thought
power.
Hokkaido was like, yeah, my favorite place. But honestly, I love Aomori so much. Like, I've been to Aomori City like 3 times now. I've been to Hirosaki once, but it was like, it's such a nice place. I mean, Hirosaki, if you don't know, is a little sort of southwest of Aomori, like the port city and the capital of the Aomori prefecture. But Hirosaki is the center of Tsugaru, which is like a quite an old fiefdom, and where Tsugaru then,
Tsugaru
like the
Jamisen.
accent comes from, very difficult accent. Tsugaru Jamisen, like a type of a musical instrument, yeah. It's basically like
Oh, yeah.
a Japanese guitar.
It's I was going to say Japanese banjo is what I was going to say.
I'm joking. I was trying to be blasphemic. It's more similar to like perhaps a lute or a mandolin, but with much less strings. In this case, like
And you got a
3.
bachi. You go
Bachi.
brang, and it goes brang, and you hit the thing. It makes a hitting
Yes.
noise as you play. It's sick. Go listen to it
It is
live if
cool.
you ever get a chance.
Yeah, like you walk past any izakaya, like basically a small pub in Hirosaki, there's always someone playing
That's so
shamisen
cool.
live.
That is
It's
so
very
cool. Oh my
There's
god.
also
Great
the
vibes.
trains when the trains are about to go and they play like a little tune over the announcement over the
Mhm.
loudspeaker. It's
Mm,
Tsugaru Jamisen.
love
I
it.
love that so much.
It's just ding ding
I'm
ding ding
moving.
ding, like it's so cool. Like I don't know, I went in the middle of winter, so it was like very snowy, very cold, but it's such a warm place.
Oh,
So, yeah,
like in vibes.
Going back to this, like the Flying Witch doesn't deal with a lot of wintry themes, as I sort of have memories of it being quite temperate.
Yeah, there's
in,
no
like,
winter
the-
in
the
it. Like she
backgrounds
goes
and
there at the
stuff.
start of April for the new school
Yes.
year because like she's moving to Hirosaki to do magic stuff, like witch stuff.
Well, the first
Do a
gag is
training?
about how she's like really confused about all the snow. Though.
What?
The gag that opens the show is her dealing with all the snow.
Yeah, because it hasn't
I
melted
don't
yet.
remember that.
Literally, episode 1, like the first thing. It's
Oh my
like
god, I
feats of-
rewatched this literally like only a couple of like months ago, and I have no memory of that.
What?
Oh yeah, no, there is
Maybe
a little
my-
bit of snow.
Maybe my memory is the one that's defective here.
Well, no, I'm putting my money on yours, Aki.
Yeah, I remember her being lost on her way to find their house.
Yeah, she does get lost on the way to find the house. It's really funny. It's just her, like, she's very competent at many things, but like she just has no sense of direction. It's just like, we have this cute character, like we need to give her some kind of character flaw. No sense of direction. Done. And then I'm just like, I've fallen for it yet again.
That's all you
Like,
needed.
every time.
I honestly thought there were more people with a sense of direction out there than there actually are. All the people I've run into in the past year can't make their way around a fucking elevator. And like, it's honestly, it makes going
Oh,
out
no.
so hard. Like, try and go
I don't-
anywhere.
I don't
They're like,
get
hey,
lost
let's go
finding
left.
you.
Like, why? They're like, oh, because why not? It's like, because there's a right, and that's the right way.
Hey, Rin, I know how to do directions.
No. Let's not.
Magikai. What? This is news to me. I'm an expert navigator. I know where the cardinal directions are at all points of the day, except when I come out of like karaoke at 11 o'clock at night. Anyway, Flying Witch is amazing. And I love the fact that it just like, it's so deeply rooted in the place that it is. And it's a real place. And so then you can have the experience that Rin did and you actually go there and you like, you know, feel the kind of same things that you can see in the show. The Horgan, the dialect that they speak, like the plants. They go into a lot of detail about like the local plants and farming. And like, and then like they go to an actual cafe, which you can actually visit, which Rin went to. Apparently the apple pie was good.
Dude, like Tsugaru, like Hirosaki is the center for apple production in Japan. Like apples, Aomori produces at least 2/3 of all the apples in Japan because it's cold, like they've got the right climate. So like apples are the thing to buy there. They're famous. So like all the sort of produce, all the special sort of limited edition goods, all the like mibutsu, like the sort of souvenir-y things are apple related, basically all of them. So like when I went to this cafe, it's just like curry with apple in it. You get like 4 different types of apple pie. No, 6 types of apple pie. And they all come with farm. And they're not named after the type of pie. It's not like round apple pie or, you know, latticed apple pie or whatever. It's the farm. So it's like Tamura Farm apple pie, whatever, because it's the type of apple, like the farm it came from, and you can taste the difference.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So cool. And Rin, you brought some like apple produce back with you, and like I just tried it, and I was just like, I felt like crying. It was just, I've never had apples like that before. Wait, why are we talking about apples? Flying Witch.
Because
Iyashi-kei.
Because Hirosaki.
Flying Witch. Hirosaki is in Iyashi-kei City.
Yes, and the cafe is like in real life is where they serve apple pie and stuff. The locations feature quite strongly in the show.
And it's healing.
It is incredibly healing. The apple pie dessert there is also very healing. I would recommend it.
Oh. I'm sorry to all the people who are listening to this from overseas and currently have no way of getting into Japan. I'm so sorry that we're tempting you with Hirosaki apples.
But when you get them, support your boy Tamura.
Yes. Yeah, Tamura Farm. Go try Tamura's apples.
It does really good sake as well, apparently.
Oh.
I mean, like, Aki would know.
It was very good.
Tamura sake. Love it. Yeah, any other things to add to Flying Witch?
It's if there is any one slice of life that you should watch that is like a famous, like zeitgeisty, iconic one, it should be this.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. If Lucky Star sort of sums up like the sort of early, not exactly Iyashi-kei, like we were talking about like Kuki-kei, sort of Nishio-kei. This sort of sums up like modern anime's take on it.
Yeah, this is modern Iyashi-kei in its best form.
Hugely influential on stuff that comes after it as well, which I'm glad to see because I like what it's done with the genre. Like, beautiful. I want more of this. Yeah. Yeah, I want more. Mukawari, onegaishimasu.
More.
I don't want this one. I'm gonna tap out of this one because I'm not a fan of this, but go for it.
Okay, well, I don't know. I guess I can introduce us. This is, Kobayashi-san Chie no Ne Dragon, the Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. It basically revolves around, again, overworked, possibly underpaid, all around, like, sore back, late 20s lady, Kobayashi, who works at a company as, I think, a programmer.
A programmer.
And, with a friend on the far right. And basically, one day she gets completely smashed
she's not one day, she gets completely smashed as usual.
As usual, and basically runs into, I think, the woods, encounters a dragon that's been basically wounded with an enormous sword in battle somewhere and ended up on Earth. Basically pulls it out and makes what turns out to be a friend of her life. This girl with the antlers. Antlers are horns? They look like antlers, but they're horns.
They're horns.
Yes. And it's sort of Iyashi-kei in that it's like slice of life comedy, but it has got the fantasy elements, obviously, of having just dragons who keep showing up in different forms or another. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she's literally a maid. She doesn't always do an amazing job, but like she does come home from a hard day's work and have like basically fantasy bishoujo, like just helping her out with shit and like pandering to every need.
Yep.
So, do you have any input?
They
Aki?
bonded over their love of mates.
Yes. Do you have any more input, Aki?
What is it? I mean,
Do you think it's wholesome?
I think it's pretty wholesome. I mean,
That's
there's obviously the fan service aspect of it, but like it's kind of a weird one, I would say. If you have something to say about it, then can go ahead. But
I don't know. Like, I really wanted to like it. Like, when I heard that they were making this, because A, I love Kyoani. B, I like, Kyoani with female protagonists. C, I love, like, dragons. Like, I've always been, like, huge fan of dragons ever since I was a kid. And then, like, it happens, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, didn't quite hit right. And then, lolly small child turns up with, like, thigh-high socks, and the internet responds in the way that some parts of the internet do to characters who look like children and act like children and have thigh-high socks.
I mean, like, Rule 34.
It's just really uncomfortable.
It will exist, just ignore it.
And then,
I mean, like, that's not the work itself.
No, the work, but like you don't make a character like that unless, I
think
like,
quite a lot of people actually would.
But like, I don't know. I feel like just like you can see her character design on here. She's like the small child next to like the main character who's the dragon, and she's, I don't know, like it just doesn't sit right with me. I like, to a certain point, like cute girls doing cute things, yes, but like, I don't know, just like it feels objectifying, which like I can put up with to some extent because it's anime, but like a very small child, I'm just like,
did you feel it's objectifying because of the character design or because
character
of
design
the content?
Character design, and maybe it's just, maybe I'm just like colored by like how the internet responded as well. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. There's also
and then like you've got the freaking girls on the left who like I just get like back pain looking at them. Which I guess.
Well, they're dragons.
That's more of my problem. That I get like back pain looking at like anime girls who've been drawn with extremely like large,
I completely
looking
relate.
chests.
But I completely relate. But at least in this case, they're actually literally not human.
I just can't enjoy it.
And it is done comedically.
My brain looks
like,
at them
they do
and
make
thinks
fun of it all
human.
the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that I am not the target audience for this. Like how Aki isn't the target audience for Barakamon, I am not the target audience for this. Which I mourn every day, but it's just, sometimes Kyoani makes stuff that you're not into, which I learned with Musaigen in Phantom World.
I think it's it. I don't think anybody enjoyed Musaigen Phantom World though. Let's get that real. Let's be real. Even the intended fan audience did not enjoy Musaigen.
Yeah, but anyway, that's my 2 cents on this anime.
I think it's a good show. Like genuinely, the writing is good, and like what it wants to do with characters and how it wants to use its. So obviously, like the whole dragon thing is an excuse to give random characters huge boobs and like have them like sudden, and like an excuse to have like sudden, really intense fight scenes. Just like
I respect the second part.
It's just them showing off the animation, basically.
Yeah, it's just an animation, or like in the manga, the drawing, and like obviously it's just an excuse to have that aesthetic. But the way it runs with it and continues to like, there's actually a decent amount of world building in Commissioners in Dragon Maid.
True.
That makes,
especially the second season as well.
Especially the second season, and it makes this picture is from the second season.
Yep.
It makes a surprising amount of sense, while keeping onto the, and so yeah, this is, I think about Dragon Maid that makes it stand out from the other things that we've talked about is that it has a crossover into the fan service genre.
True. Yeah. Quite obviously.
Yeah.
It really writes, and it really kind of wants to be 50% of both. It wants to be both. and it does a good job of being both. Interestingly enough, like some of the fan service shows that want to be Iyashi-kei just cannot make it. Like they're just way too fan service to actually be Yashi in any way.
That is true, yeah.
But well, this is coming from someone who's ace, so like I don't know. But I think Dragon Maid rides that line very well, and it has a very good OP.
The opening
I would
is
agree.
fantastic. I will agree on that. Although I do get back pain watching it. Other than that,
The other thing is though, like
Just
they know
watch
what
the
they're doing.
Fana version of it.
Oh no.
But the thing is, they know what they're doing with the fan servers. Like, it's so sort of over the top that it's sort of meta. Like, all the characters make fun of it. It's not hidden. It's not just like, oh, it's a matter of fact that she has like
incredibly over the
130 centimeters boobs. Like, it's not a...
Yeah, it's weird. It's fan servicey in a not very sexy way, if it makes sense.
Exactly. Like, it's not... It's not, like, lewd.
It's not. It's just fan servicey.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
the
a
other
very
thing is also-
weird, like, position for them to have put it in.
It's good
But
for, like,
I think it,
merchandise, but not really good for, like, stirring
For
up
like
their
drawing
fans.
in the hardcore fan service crowd. Yeah. So I think that's why it's been able to enjoy such discourse, and like because it puts itself in such a unique position. And I think it's worth a watch, and if you don't like it, like there's definitely no reason to watch it.
But the other thing is also there's often, like, I don't know what you call it, sort of like moments of clarity in like a drunk person's mind, where in this you get some really good characterization just from a few scenes. It'll just be like completely like the girl with the huge knockers on the left, who's like generally not she's not filled out as a character at all for like most of the series, and then occasionally she says a few things and it makes you think really hard, and it really adds to the scene and fleshes out a character
and like gives her a reason to exist.
Exactly. It's honestly done so well, and it makes you think it's done on purpose, and I sort of think it is.
Hard to tell, but like I think it's more than meets the eye, I would say.
Yeah. Anyway, have we sort of said what we wanted to say on this?
But are you healed by it? Like
I'm
feel
not
like
sure.
Yes,
like
it's very Iyashi. I think
like
it's very classic Iyashi, actually.
I feel
Do you
like
say
kind
classy
of like
or classic?
Like in the sense that like it's ostensibly very literally about some overworked salary person who's given a way to deal with that lifestyle through the supernatural means.
That is true. Yeah, it's yeah. We'll get to some series that are similar to that in a minute.
yeah, I was about to say.
I do get it.
Like I feel like another thing that like I got from the small amount that I watched is also like the fact that it's like kind of Yuri and like having that like
there are
wholesome
Yuri vibes,
relationship. Apparently, I didn't get far enough into it to actually have that, but according to the internet, that's why
hinted
people
in the
like
manga,
it.
I think.
It's Yuri Bait. It's not Yuri.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It's like, I don't know, aren't they basically hinting at the moment that Toru obviously really likes Kobayashi, but I feel like they're sort of hinting that Kobayashi could like Toru. And it is baity, but like, they're going to end the series somehow, and I don't know how it's going to happen. Like, could go either way.
I think it's more bait than actual Yuri.
Fair enough.
In any case, the Yuri is not the main part of the show. Like, until season 2. Season 1 is very much like, if there's any Yuri element in season 1, it's bait. And then it's season 2 where they start to hint at it being more real.
Yeah, true. Series 2 was actually really well done. Like, I was thoroughly impressed.
I was very impressed as well.
It's not for me.
But the next one,
The next one.
Next
Oh, my keyboard.
and the next one isn't going to be for you either.
That's also not for me because I have not watched much Fate at all.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no. Go for it, you two. Take it away. Tell us about.
I've not watched Fate either.
People die
I've
when
not
they.
watched Fate
Wait,
either.
what? Okay, I thought
Have you
you
seen
watched
this
it.
I've watched 3
Oh.
episodes of Fate, and I'm like, okay, no thanks.
Which one?
Stay Night.
Oh, so yeah, okay, 2016.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, it was not a very good ride.
Anyway, Rin. Tell us about. Like Kyo no Gohan.
Okay, this is a UFO Table Age Fate series, obviously. Since 2012, I think Fate Zero was handled by UFO Table. And then you have the Unlimited Blade Works, I think, in 2014. You have the Heaven's Feel movies, which were like, I think, 2017, 18. Yeah, they did 3 of those.
So, like,
And then,
basically,
like,
it's like an incredibly popular, like, action series with beautiful animation.
Well, yes, well, the original route, which is the Saber route, I'm not an expert on this, is like 2000, like the game it's based on is like early 2000s. The Studio Dean adaptation, which is the main route, is in 2006, but that wasn't very well done. It was, as always with Studio Dean, done on a budget and like combined random bits that sort of spoiled the other routes.
Yes.
By just, shoving them in there for no reason. Like, it didn't work too well. And then UFO Table basically picked up the series, put a shit ton of money into it. They adapted Fate Zero, which is a prequel and also based on a novel series by Urobuchi Gem, I think is his name.
Urobuchi Gen, my boy.
Yeah,
Urobuchi.
Your boy.
The Urobucha.
Yes. So basically he did the novel series for it, and they adapted the 2 other main routes in it, which are the Din, the Torpsycho route, and the Sakura route, which is Heaven's Feel. And this is like, I don't know, it's like, because both of those are pretty dark, they get progressively darker as you go along. The Heaven's Feel route is especially dark. This is like Iyashi-kei for the trauma of having watched the previous series.
I love watching an anime and getting so traumatized that I need to watch the next anime in the series, which is to fix the trauma that the anime has inflicted upon me. It's just, wow. That tells you what you need to know about Fate.
Yes, this is like all the characters are alive, first of all, because it's sort of like multiverse theory, like you've seen 3 different endings where different people have died, different people have lived, and different things have happened. This is like the happy ending where everyone lives in the same neighborhood. And
That's cute.
they all, they have dinner in their house and stuff.
Literally,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and people just go shopping and come by, and it's just like watching your favorite characters getting along with it.
It's
very
like
nice.
it's like official fan fiction. It's like AU, they all live in the same street, and they're all friends.
I was gonna say that's like when I was a kid, and then like a show would end. Like, this is exactly what I wanted to exist for that show. Like, I want to see what happens afterwards, where they're just having a nice life.
It's not
like,
really
this is
afterwards,
this.
but it's like parallel.
Well, yeah,
and also
when
if you want
they don't all die.
Yes, if you want like an escapist sort of like another thing, there's also Carnival Phantasm, but that's like 100% comedy, like absurdist.
I've seen
just
clips of that. It's hilarious.
It is
even not
actually really
knowing
funny.
anything about Fate, it's still funny.
It's really well done. The first series was I think Tsukihime and Fate, basically the characters from both of them.
Yeah.
And that's just like them just completely absurd, like them doing random shit in skits and things. And so
It's
that's
the
like
Nasukas.
yes, it sort of stops you taking it too seriously, whereas this calms you down. And it's like everything's okay. Like, your favorite character isn't dead. They're just having dinner. And it just like has them lovingly cooking dinner with like an extremely pleasing colour palette.
Aww.
And this was released monthly, so it's not as stressy as weekly either. It's like it's just a little bit once every 4 weeks or so. You just get a nice little anytime new episode up. It was quite good.
As a treat.
Yes.
That's nice.
So it's like I'd say it's marketed specifically at fans of Fate, but it was Iyashi-kei definitely. Like, I'm not sure it's not really for people who haven't seen it.
And so
Although
my
it would be
question,
enjoyable, but
Rin.
Yeah.
Do like Shiro and Saber, do they both know how to cook?
Saber doesn't cook, she just eats, as far as I recall.
That's not a bad job. Alright, okay. Well, I mean, like I stan a protag who can cook. Good on him.
I mean, yeah, Shiro can cook. I mean, that's pretty much most of the series is him cooking.
It's just him. I mean, that's literally the name of the series.
Aww. I haven't even watched Fate, and I probably won't because it does sound very full on. And
Go watch Heaven's Field. You'll love the cooking scenes.
why do I feel like I'm being trolled? I'm sure it's fine. I'll just go watch it, and then I'll have a breakdown. And then I'll watch Shiro do some cooking.
Yeah, Sakura has a nice meal.
Oh no. I want to know the context for that. knowing Fate, it's gonna be like she's like doing some kind of like cannibalism or something. Oh, I'm not even gonna guess what it is. Probably something horrible. But yeah,
No, it's nice. It's very wholesome. Go watch it.
Nice. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Emiya-san Chikyo no Gohan.
Yeah, would recommend.
Yeah. Very healing.
Lots of girls.
Oh my god. Shiny days. The shiny days are here, fam. Oh. This is the anime that brings everyone together.
It is. Everyone enjoys it. And
Yes.
there's not I don't think I know a single person who doesn't enjoy the show.
I know, right?
The other weird thing about this one is it aired in a season where there was nothing else. It was a really shit season, I do recall.
That is true.
And this was like the one sleepy hit, and everyone loved it. And they're like,
Yeah.
where the fuck did this come from?
Because like all the anime fans were like, oh no, there's nothing good. I guess I'll watch some of the other new things that I don't know much about. And then they watch this and everyone's like, oh, what? This is amazing. And for people who don't know, which you probably do know if you're listening to this, Yurukyang is like, the premise is high school girls go camping together in winter, which is really nice. And they like go on little like bike journeys and motorbike journeys, and they just like go around Mount Fuji and to lakes, and they just have campfires and do little cooking things, and they go to school and they go have part-time jobs. It's very similar to Yamano Susume. So this is like the spiritual successor in my heart to Yamano Susume. But yeah, no, it's lovely.
Yeah,
Music's
fair enough.
great.
It's beautiful.
Music's great.
The soundtrack is so good.
Yeah,
The soundtrack
it really
is like one of the like anime soundtracks. Like I know Rin like listens to them all the time, like just constantly, like Made in Abyss and stuff. And Aki,
Made in Abyss.
Aki as
Oh,
well?
come on.
Aki as well.
I do hear.
Listen,
Yeah.
yeah. But like I don't really listen to anime OST like for fun much, but I do listen to this one whenever I just want to feel cozy, like in winter. I just put on the OST for this on YouTube, and it's just like, mwah.
It's good enough.
Mwah.
The 8-bit soundtrack is also good. It's that good.
I know. It's just what.
I don't know, I'd still
Yeah.
say that Made in Abyss is still like legendarily good, so I still listen to it more. And I mean, I also really like the Ghost of the Shell standalone complex
I've
soundtrack.
noticed.
But-
yeah.
But that's also
It's
like
good.
a really experimental vibe. Whereas this is like, I don't know,
This is like it's like kind of folksy, kind of like
it's really folky.
It feels very outdoors.
It's very outdoors. I mean, the whole thing is outdoors.
Like I love tin whistles so much. And so lots of it is the tin whistle. And
Just go watch it. Honestly,
yeah,
it's
just go watch
it's,
the show.
It's so worth it.
And the
If
characters
you're
are
in the
so
southern
like just
hemisphere,
pleasant.
like you're going into winter, like it's perfect timing. Just like rip it out on like a cold day and just enjoy.
And just be inspired to go camping in the winter yourself.
Yeah.
And also, like,
Aki, are you
the-
going to go
the voice
camping in the winter
cast.
with us?
Totally.
Beautiful. Tell us about the voice cast, Rin.
I don't quite remember who does. Is it, what's her name? Ogiwara Chiaki or something like that. You got Nadeshiko is like the girl on the left. That's,
Pink hair
What's her
girl.
name? what's her name again? She's the one who does
Nao.
freaking,
Toyama Nao.
no, that's Lin. The other.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, you said Nadeshiko.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Nadeshiko
the-
is.
Oh, I love Lin.
Thank you. the
Hanamori
Yumi.
Yumi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like up and coming. She's mostly known nowadays for Nadeshiko and playing Hayasaka Ai from Kaguya-sama. Like, she's incredibly versatile. Does an
Two
amazing job in
amazing
this.
roles. Yeah.
You got Lin, who's on the right, who is basically the sort of expert role here. She's the one who does solo camping all the time. Not very friendly, but like, in a way, a really good friend.
She's like distant, but like loving.
She's a loner.
Lovingly distant.
Yes.
Yeah. She's the Aki of the group.
Yes.
They're
And
very
it's sort of-
independent, but like supportive and nice.
And it's like, it was like originally her hobby. She runs in an escort, and Nadeshiko becomes influenced to do it, and then drags her new friends into it as well, kind of, or at least drags them into interacting with Rin. So it's like, I don't know, all around.
It's like companionship again.
Massively good times.
Yeah, it's like sharing the great outdoors with people who you care about. It's like, aww. Just makes me so happy.
You've got Takashi Rie, and you've got Toyosaki Yaki as well. And I forget the other girl's name. I'm sorry.
Kansai girl? Inuyama?
No. That's Toyosaki Yaki.
Oh, yeah. No, I forget her name too. My apologies, extra girl. I love you too, but I've forgotten your name. But yeah, really, Nadeshiko and Rin, they steal the show.
I mean, they do. That's also why they have all the merch.
Yes, they have all the merch.
And Yurikam is quite interesting. Like, if we want to talk about the anime, if we want to just talk about the anime, the way it incorporates parallel storytelling, because so we talk about Rin being a solo camper, and so a lot of times she's literally just doing stuff on her own, and then Nadeshiko and the other two girls will be doing stuff together. Yeah, and then they will communicate through text, and text is used a lot, like messaging, like line messaging is used a lot in the show to bridge the two storylines and to have them interact with each other. And it's
why is this, like, what are you doing today? And it's like, oh, and like, here's a picture of what I'm doing, and then like she sends it to the other girls, and everyone's like, oh my god, look at this funny picture. It's like they do it. They use it as such a good like little storytelling strategy. I love it.
It's also how she draws in her other friend as well, like Saito or whatever her name is.
Yeah, Saito.
Like just through, they just text the entire series, and she's just like, where are you today? Sending her nice pictures and stuff, and eventually she decides to join them. Like, it's a nice little thing.
The power of friendship.
Yeah. Also, by the way, that girl with the glasses is Ogaki Chiaki, and she's voiced by Hara Sayuri, just so you know.
Thank you very much.
Very
I only remember the names of 3 people. I know Nadeshiko, I know Rin, and I know Inuyama. Now I need to remember the other ones. The problem is it got me too relaxed that I couldn't, my brain wasn't awake enough to remember their names. I was just in such a state of bliss that, it's not my fault. It's not my
Honestly, such a boss series. It's so good.
Oh yeah. Masterpiece. And movie coming out, I believe. Has it already come out?
I don't think so.
I'm very excited to see the movie.
I don't think so. I mean, I'd like to see it as soon as it's out.
I would also like to see it as soon as it's out. I haven't watched the Detective Conan movie. Oh no. I'm a fake fan.
I mean, there's better things you could be doing with your time.
Oh, but what if this one's actually good? Oh god.
Huh.
How many times have you said that?
Many years now. Hi, this is Zen again in post-production. The movie was incredibly stupid. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear me rant about the Detective Conan movie. Back to the podcast. But the problem is, like, it's like 1 in 10 times it's actually good, so it's like, maybe
who knew
this is
that
the
Conan
time.
is
Anyway,
just gacha?
Conan is gacha. Like, I look down on gacha and I speak so, like disgustedly of it, but then, like, I just have my own gacha.
But we've got a 10% hit rate on these movies that cost,
1,500 yen, yeah. Listen, I'm aware, I have awareness. Unlike this guy, like...
Yes,
are we up to this? End. Are we up to this one? Are we at the end?
Well, this isn't actually an Iyashi-kei. This is just a
I
very
love you,
Iyashi
Amelia.
image.
We have a kokuhaku right here, right now, friends.
No, honestly, it's a quote. It's a quote.
I mainly just put this in here.
Saying that you love Amelia.
No, the quote is "I love Amelia."
Yeah, like he says it the whole. Anyway. Yeah, Rin, do you want to wrap up our episode?
Yes, I can rap. There's actually there's actually some pictures you can get of. Make it sound like it's illegal, for Christ's sake. No, there's actually images of
if you know the right
Subaru
people,
being
you
sort
can
of
get
yes. only seeing in the picture. No, there's freaking what's her name? The Rem.
Best girl, yes.
Basically.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and so we're getting the Hizamakura treatment from Rem, and I chose this one instead just because I know that Zen is a massive Rem fan.
I am a Rem fan. This is fine.
But I mean,
Amelia
like,
is lovely
despite
too.
season 2 being quite slow, Amelia got, like, I mean, Rem was basically just, like, pretty much half dead for most of the series, so, I mean, Amelia got a lot more screen time and a lot more character development, so did pretty well, I think.
This is true. But, the reason that you put this here wasn't to talk about ReZero, I believe.
Hizamakura, very Iyashi.
Nice.
I thought you put it here as like a, well, let's wrap up this conversation about Iyashi-kei, but no, you put it here to talk about freaking Hizamakura. I can't believe it.
I mean, like, no, not really. I mean,
fail.
it's just a very Iyashi sort of image. I just wanted to have, if either of you learned anything this evening about Iyashi-kei, about yourselves, about friendship.
I feel like I've learned that Iyashi-kei, like, it can come in so many different forms, and like the different ways that people can experience the effect of Iyashi-kei, like whether it's scenery, whether it's being part of like an in-group that you otherwise wouldn't get, like, you know, get the experience being part of, and the joy that comes from those experiences. And it's like, and like food, but mostly like it's companionship and having
Food.
Well, listen, food had to get a special mention.
So-
Listen, I know, me too. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
But like,
companionship.
companionship. It's like all of these are about like the characters and like their bonds with each other to like a large extent. And I really get that. Like, especially like with COVID, in some ways, lots of people have become more isolated and lonely. That obviously isn't everyone's experience, but I think it is a pretty common thread for lots of people. And and even just the alienation of living in a world that's messed up. I'm going to say capitalism. I don't know if my co-hosts are going to say that, but I will. And it's like,
Here we go.
you know, I totally get the need for Iyashi-kei, and I really respect the people who have put in the like love and like huge amount of work that has gone into making these shows and these manga and the huge healing effect that it has had on millions and millions of people across the entire planet. So anime has saved humanity. Mic drop. Well, what do you two have to say?
Lucky if you would.
I really enjoy Iyashi-kei because I think it's something that works really well in anime. And it obviously we talked about the societal context for it becoming very popular, but also like medium wise, it works very well with anime, and I think it's like a very unique kind of style of work that you can get from it. And so, like, you can talk about like, yeah, there's nothing quite like Iyashi-kei anime. And while personally, I don't find myself like watching to the end of these series, but like it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't fit into my life in that way. And it takes like a really, really, really good slice of life or Iyashi-kei show for me to actually watch it all the way to the end. But when it does hit those highs, when it does hit the mark, it really hits the mark, and there's nothing quite like it.
Well said.
Very well said. I don't know, I'm just thinking about okonomiyaki.
And well, you know, that is.
I was ready for this like deep insight from, you know, like you've watched the most Iyashi-kei out of all of us, and I was like, I was getting ready for something real deep, and then you hit us with pancakes.
Speaking of deep dish apple pie, but yeah.
Oh my god!
Could
What
go
have I done? I think Rin has Rin's bugging out. All he's doing is talking about food now.
I need some Hirosaki apples, but okay, heading back
me
to
too,
Iyashi-kei
actually.
for a little longer. I don't know, like,
Somebody.
I mean, Iyashi-kei anime is a thing that, like, I don't know, it's there for people who need it. I feel like a lot more people need it than they realize. Like, even people who aren't necessarily into anime, it might just be the thing that sort of helps them out a little bit, gets them in the right frame of mind to, make their day a little bit better kind of thing. Like, I mean, I'm not the most stressed person on the planet. I sort of manage my stress somehow.
Yeah, you do. Like, miraculously, I can't explain it, folks.
I mean, I'm somehow still alive. But, like, I don't know, like, it really does help. And I feel like just looking at all those stats and stuff earlier, which I did feel I had to put in. I mean, I'm sorry if you didn't want to look at them, but they exist. And, like, things aren't always great, especially with COVID and stuff like that. But, I mean, Iyashi-kei anime really helped me out, and I feel like it should help out more people, hence why we sort of put this into an episode, I think. I mean, it is just an excuse to chat about all the anime we've seen and have a really good chat, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, if people are like, hey, you know what, maybe I don't need a massage chair and a room of candles and whatever it is, maybe I'll just sit down and have a nice break. You don't need to release your stress all at once. You don't need to go beat the shit out of a punching bag. Like, sometimes you just need to unwind a little bit, and, like, it's quite a legitimate resource nowadays, I'd say. That's basically it from me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need more Iyashi. But, I mean, like, also, like, we need to fix the problems. But,
yes.
Well, when we recover from the hard work of fixing the problems, we recover with some cute anime girls doing cooking while climbing mountains, and thinking it's good.
That sounds like an ideal way to save the world.
Yes,
absolutely.
So in the gap between now and before General Zen Zedong gains power, we've got Iyashi-kei.
I'm not a freaking authoritarian communist. I'll have don't give the audience the wrong idea. I think we should just all get along a little bit more, like the girls who climb the mountains.
Because that's when you're stuck on, okay?
Listen, it is currently nearly midnight, so listen, don't get any political thought from me. It's not. I have nothing of use to offer except go watch cute anime. Yeah. Is that
and that's it?
Is that a pod? Is that
I think that's the pod. Fare thee well.
Fare thee well. We'll see you next time, which will be at some point soon. Is that correct, fam? We're doing one at some point soon?
I mean, I would assume it would be soon. I mean, otherwise we'll just, I don't know, pick it up in 3 years.
Alright, see you guys in 3 years.
No, come back, Aki. Don't walk into the sunset. But yeah, see ya. 聞いてくれてありがとね。I love it. There's no nothing from Aki.
Just edit something in.
I'm gonna put it.
Oh, is that supposed to be something from me? Oh, I said bye just now. Bye bye. Do you want me to do it?